man, oh man, oh man. Drama, right? Okay. Welcome, Muffin Top. Hey, Justice Janny. Good to see you. Diane Nolan. Glad you're here. Thing 1. Where's Thing 2? Hey, Rule Breaker. Good to see you again. Hey, Voice for the Voiceless. Elizabeth Gregory, my friend. Missed your live earlier. My son's had football. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It goes by way too fast. I miss all of my sports mom stuff. Jingles. Welcome. Ooh, jacket blue. Live to life from inside of a room. All right. Make up with Jackie. Welcome. Vicky Carpenter. Gigi. Oui, Gigi. Bonjour, Gigi, mademoiselle. Chrissy M. All right. That's enough of all that foolishness. Okay. So we've got angry Tinkerbell. Yeah? Okay. Try to get it from finger pointing back to the discussion. I tried, Jules. Right? I know. Yeah. So new rule. You know, I've been doing this for years, right? And I've never really had much of a rule book. I'm going to have to come up with a new rule because I think we have some subversives. If you guys think we may have some subversives, put a 1. You know, subversives are people that come in, they pretend to be your friend, but really they're there to be a distraction and pull away from good content. If you think we may have some subversives in the chat, put a 1. If you think I'm being Ryan Upchurch, put a 2. No, I'm kidding. Just 1s. If you think there may be some people coming in whose sole job is to interfere with good conversation, interfere with the ability to stay on good topics, or even to distract you guys and send y'all off to another chat. What do you guys think? Is it happening? Am I a conspiracy nut, Texas gal? No, I'm not. It's happening, isn't it? I saw it. Hey, Monk, welcome. Yes. So, you know, the first few times I'm friendly to everyone. I'm happy for everybody to come in and be nice and kind and respectful, and I'm good with that. But I did go back and start looking, and I noticed one person who kept redirecting to all these other channels. Hey, Skitty Nona, welcome. Yes, it was happening, Texas girl. We both saw it, didn't we? So I went back methodically to make sure that I wasn't being, you know, a little bit conspiratorial or whatnot. And I clearly was not. So we have a new rule. If someone in the chat is saying, oh, such and such is going live, or Ryan Upchurch is standing on his head naked on Perplex QT's channel, anything like that, anything that appears to be designed to make people leave this channel and go into another channel for something that's, you know, exciting and cool and awesome, please block them. Block them. I know where that person's coming from. I know what it's about. I don't have any interest in that type of childish, silly, foolish mess. Okay? Block them. And so, you guys might want to put the word out that we're not doing that anymore. I've always been very supportive of other channel, you know, creators. Hell, I was supportive of Duty Ron. Oh, Duty Ron's going live. Let's end my live and let's all go over to Duty Ron's. Remember that? Not doing that anymore. But if you see somebody in the channel and they're saying, go over, ooh, someone is, riding a horse, spitting, chewing tobacco right now. Go look. Block them. I'm done. I don't want to deal with all this. Okay. I take zero issue. What? I take zero issue with Ryan. Fact is, lame stream feeds us lies. Absolutely. And when we feel deceived, he may not be spot on with all assessments, but we are constantly lied to. He's right in that. Love his music. Well, no, Scarlett. See, I have a different opinion. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I have a different opinion. I don't like this mentality of, oh, that person should not be allowed to have a YouTube channel. We should take their channel away from them. They should not be allowed. Don't go to that channel. Okay, to me, that is a person, number one, who's eat up with arrogance, right? That's a creator that's having a serious problem with remembering it's just YouTube and you are not a celebrity, right? It's the second part of this idea that someone doesn't deserve a channel on YouTube is that the whole point of YouTube is that everyone can make a channel and talk about their ideas and opinions. Now, the thing that makes one channel successful and another one not is whether or not people are going to feel aligned with that creator. If they're going to listen to that creator and say, yes, my ideas match his ideas or her ideas, and so I'm going to go hang out there. If you are behaving in a way that is offensive and or cruel or just crazy, then eventually people will move away from that. I mean, it may be interesting in the moment when it's new and it's unusual, it's something you haven't ever seen before, but eventually you're going to acclimate, and then you're going to be right back to, I just want something interesting to be a part of. And then you'll go and search of other channels. So I'm not part of the cancel culture. I think we get into some really dangerous ground when we start embracing cancel mentality. Oh, you have a political opinion, I'm not going to buy your bread anymore. That's just silly. If they make the best bread there is, but they happen to have political agenda much different than your own, why do you care? Why don't you just go ahead and enjoy the bread and then let other people decide their own politics? Vote, one man, one vote. That's the way it is. So I'm just not into the whole cancel someone, take someone's voice away. There are plenty of people that don't like me. There are plenty of people that don't want to listen to what I have to say. They just stay away. They just don't come in to the channel. But they're not running around. Now, they were. There was one channel that the creator was off her rocker. But for the most part, you go into a channel, you watch a few minutes. If these people, if you feel somehow aligned with them, then you will stay. And if they are offensive to you or they're boring, then you'll leave and you'll go to the next channel. And that's it, right? Now, this thing that's happening with Ryan, it's just gotten wonky. It's gotten out of control, and everybody's kind of blaming it on, Ryan. He is, his anger, his frustration gets away with him. He's self-indulgent. When he gets irritated, he, acts out, yells at people, cusses, whatever, Again, you can just choose not to watch. I mean, you can just say, I'm not interested in what this kid is saying, and then you leave and you go to another channel. But that's my reason for making this, thank you, Muffin Top. The reason for doing this live is that I was actually watching, because it was made out to be like this big deal, this big exciting deal between Glare and Ryan Upchurch and a few other people. And it's this huge panel of people, right? Perplexed QT's there. She's my friend. You know, we've been friends a long time. And she's on the channel. And she and I are pretty well aligned on this, that why do we want to stop anyone from having an opinion, right? It's what makes conversation interesting. And so Ryan has an opinion. Ryan has some thoughts and an orientation that is really attractive towards people that sort of lean toward conspiracy theory. Now, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. This YouTube platform is filled with conspiratorial thought. We've got army bases on the moon. We've got lizard people living in the White House. We even got flat earthers trying not to fall off the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. So you know what I'm talking about. We've got Nibiru. God help us, the number of Nibiru channels that there are. Some people would even go as far as to say that climate change is a conspiracy. One that is designed to make you spend more of your hard-earned money. That when you actually look at the scientists at NASA, they have been predicting a mini ice age. So we're building up now to a mini ice age. We know what we experienced in Texas 2 years ago. The sun is in a solar minimum. So I'm sorry, but you know, the White House science advisor was correct about the mini ice age. But with that grand solar minimum comes chaotic weather, extremes in temperature. You get droughts and then monumental rainfall and flooding. The ice cap moves from the polar north and south down toward, the middle. So these are all things that have happened before in our archaic history. These are all things that happened before. They're all things that are connected to a grand solar minimum. But you can't make money off a grand solar minimum. No one can control the sun. And I sort of think Ryan Upchurch is a little bit like the sun. No one's going to control Ryan Upchurch. So people are making money with this climate change thing, right? It's people have found a way to put a price tag on getting appliances and such that are energy efficient. And I mean, it's happening. A lot of people have gotten very wealthy on the whole development of electric cars and the windmills for the electricity. In truth, they're burning up just as much fossil fuel. Nobody ever tells you that, but it is true. Otherwise, if they don't have oil in it, it's going to burn up. The friction from the movement of the propellers, the thing will burn up. You can actually look at the videos of them burning up on YouTube. So, regardless of why people do this, some people liken conspiratorial thought to like a novel, like a book. It's like if you really get into Nibiru topics and information, it's like you're reading the never-ending novel. It's like a fictional tale that really never changes, because people are always putting up new information. They're always putting up new thoughts, or, oh, look, Nibiru's here. And, Nibiru's not here. Okay, it's just that the sun is in a solar minimum. So there are people that love conspiracy. We know that, right? And so Ryan's one of these. He's putting out information that's bombastic. It's offensive to a certain group of people, but it's bombastic. It's conspiratorial. It's fantastical. He's mixing in elements of fact with ideas that he's developed on his own. So the information that he's put out about the color purple being symbolic of pedophilia, that is true. Some of the things that he's saying, while it sounds fairly shocking, is accurate, but then he follows up by being highly emotional, and it alienates people, and it shocks people, and it offends people. But here's where my problem is, and here's where the point of this live. And I'm gonna, hey Susan Treadway, welcome, good to have you. Hey Denise, Diane, welcome. Tina and Fam, welcome. Hey Antimony, glad you're here. Trusika. Okay, let me share this live. We're going to do a reaction video. I don't often do these, but we're going to do this reaction video. Hold on. Now, this is so funny. So the title of this video is, why is Ryan Upchurch using Kylie Rodney as clickbait? That's the title of the video. We're going to problem solve through this because we're the intellectuals, okay? Why is @Ryan Upchurch using Kylie Rodney as clickbait? Well, first of all, how clickbaity is this title, right? You got hashtag Kylie Rodney, which right now is like the #1 search for the true crime genre. Kylie Rodney. There you go. And then who's everybody looking for who likes to watch people freak out? Not MRV. They're looking for Ryan Upchurch. So Queen Bee managed to put 3 of the most clickbaity types of topics all in one title. Ryan Upchurch, Kylie Rodney, and Sammy Smith has lawyered up. So this is funny. Like, I'm not being mean. I mean, this is really funny. I was like, damn, Queen Bee, this is why you're queen. This is why you're royalty, baby. Why is Ryan Upchurch using Kylie Rodney as clickbait? Oh, yeah. And Sammy hires an attorney. Okay, so that's pretty funny, because there's the suggestion that clickbait is a bad thing. All right, let me get old Tink out of the way. Gotta put you to bed, Tinkerbell. Okay, this is my other one I like. Okay, so here we are, the non-clickbait live. Now this sucker went on for hours and hours and hours, and it was changing faces all throughout the afternoon. Okay, but in this particular specific area, this specific point right here, there is the beginning of a showdown between Glairer and Ryan Upchurch. So this is not the first time that they've come face to face. I think they don't like each other, actually. But I felt a little perturbed right from the bat, because Glairer and this other girl, they're all like, well, why haven't you paid AWP? Why haven't you paid AWP? You said you were giving him $100,000. Why have you paid AWP? When are you going to pay? When are you going to pay AWP? Huh? When are you going to pay him? Tell me when you're going to pay him. And I'm thinking, what? Why is it none of your business? It's none of your business whether he's paid or not. That's weird. It's just weird. We know, because it's Abgirl's panel, we know that Jared and Upchurch are in contact with one another. $100,000. I don't know if you guys know this or not. That's a whole lot of money. It's a lot of money. And there are special laws that govern the transfer of that kind of money. So you guys that are running around going, hey, Mom, can you cash at me $20 so I can go out to have lunch? You don't cash out $100,000. You don't do that. So I thought, gosh, what's the point of what you're doing, Blair? Like, are you flexing your muscles for all the little girly YouTubers to show them how strong you are? That you're gonna confront Ryan Upchurch and try to like make a name for yourself? Ooh, look, I called Ryan Upchurch out on his $100,000. Do you know how much the man is worth? $100,000 to Upchurch is, me dropping a 20. It's nothing. So I thought, well, this is boring, watching Blair try to make a name for himself on the back of Ryan Upchurch, right? Now, this particular conversation that we're about to listen to, it's very interesting. You know why? It's interesting because they're accusing Ryan of using Kylie Rodney to get views. Do you know how crazy that sounds? It's crazy. These are people that have no comprehension what it means to have 5 platinum albums. They have no comprehension what 2 million subscribers actually equates to. It's silly to say that he would be using Kylie Rodney to gain like clicks or views. That's silly. It's just so silly. And yet they're doing it. And at the same time that they're being judgmental against Ryan for using clickbait, they're doing exactly the same thing. They're actually doing exactly what they're claiming that Upchurch is doing. It's so funny to me. I'm listening. I'm just laughing. I'm going, oh my God, can you say hypocrite? Okay, so let's listen. I think it's interesting. Let's listen.
Where is the videos of the supposed Kylie?
And let me caution you guys, okay? Ryan Upchurch has a problem with expressing exactly what comes to mind. He doesn't censor himself. He uses filthy language. He yells when he gets frustrated. He displays bad behavior. And if he were my son, I would take him to task for the way he's acting when he gets frustrated and angry. When he is calm, he puts his ideas out there very well. Very well. He's very interesting to listen to. He's a really intelligent kid, but he loses it. He gets so mad and frustrated when people are messing with him and won't listen to him. So here's your warning. If you're going to be offended by bad language, this is not the live you want to listen to. Okay? Just get ready. I'm telling you, he's badly behaved as sons go. Okay?
A Rodney person. Nobody has them. The only thing people have is old ass videos from back in the day and really shitty flip phone pictures. Open your fucking eyes. What are you saying?
But don't you think that that's incredibly disrespectful to her family and loved ones that are missing her? And that,
Don't you think
I
it's
mean,
disrespectful that her family isn't putting anything out that's worth a fuck to where people can know that she's real?
because you're not entitled to that. Do that. Yeah, exactly. You're not
I
entitled.
No
agree.
one's
None of us
entitled
are.
to it, but
I
if someone
agree. I agree with Blair and this other lady. I don't know who this lady is. He is not entitled. He is asking for things that are none of his business. That is absolutely true. It's offensive as hell to believe that her parents are on YouTube watching all this crap and, oh yes, let me rush and go get pictures for Ryan Upchurch to feel better about things. That's not true. They're not even watching this. Y'all know they're preppers, right? They live off the grid. They don't have cell phones. They don't have phone coverage at their house, at the lodge. There's no internet at the lodge. They're off grid. They're not watching all this. So Glare is white knighting for the family. The family has no idea we all exist.
telling me that somebody in my family is fake and bullshit and all this stuff and it's causing me trouble, I'm going to post the proof that they're real and it's going to be over with. Hello.
Maybe you would, but maybe they would just try to deal with the trauma of losing their child and try to move on. They haven't been able to deal with this peacefully because of people like you.
Now, Glare, do you really believe that people living off the grid, people with no internet or cell phone at their house, do you believe they are sitting at an internet cafe somewhere watching us to see what we're going to say while they're in their time of acute grief and the development of an investigation into the murder of their child? Do you really and truly believe, Glare, that they give a damn about we on YouTube? They don't, Glare. We're nothing to them. Their world has been turned upside down. They are in shock in a way that the rest of us can't even understand. So again, Glare, you're putting on your robes, your white knight robes, to this is another form of virtue signaling. You're trying to use Ryan Upchurch to show everybody what a great guy you are. You're doing this to establish a connection with new subscribers. You don't give a damn about this. That's the truth. You are using a celebrity who's being here, wanting to be a part of a conversation, not as a singer. He's not here trying to be a singer. He's not here trying to be a millionaire. He's just here trying to have a conversation about a mystery. He just wants to be a part of the conversation. And you're using him to try to get a few more subscribers by doing virtue signaling.
Glarer.
Exactly.
Glarer.
Exactly.
No, I want to ask Glarer something.
Sure.
Okay. Listen to this scenario. AWP comes to find the car. They point AWP in not the right direction. It's the last place they check. They find the car. Why is no one mad when she's not found? When she's found, everyone gets mad. To the point where the mom talks shit to AWP and Jagger, the supposed boyfriend, called them clout chasers. Why is that?
Okay, just for correction here, the emails that were put out supposedly from Kylie's mother, that has been debunked. They were not from Kylie's mother. They were not. She doesn't even have a phone. Why do you think AWP had to call Aunt Sally? They are preppers living off grid. There's a newspaper article about it. So that part just is factually inaccurate. They They did not. They're not the ones that wrote those notes.
The boyfriend and the mother shit talking the people that just gave them closure. Answer that.
I can answer that to a certain degree. I can't speak for them, but I can speculate on that. As far as Jagger goes, when AWP did their video and I spoke up about this, AWP created a narrative that Jagger had met with her. They never outright said it because they know that it would cause litigation. They would be prone to litigation.
Oh, thank you, Glare. So you're telling us, Glare, that the parents, the family of Kylie Rodney, whose body has been pulled from a lake exactly where there were 20,000 man-hours searching and no one found it. And now there's a high suspicion of murder. And you're claiming that Jagger and the mom are in cahoots doing something. And the reason that Kylie's mother doesn't do something is she's afraid of litigation? Really? I'm going to ask you guys this question. Just the amount that we've covered right now this far, who do you think is being more conspiratorial? Probably still Ryan, but Glare is pulling up a very close second. He's having to project onto the mother of a dead child, possibly murdered child. He is having to project onto her motivation to do or not do something because she fears litigation. How does Glare know that? And I'm going to tell you, people that have just found out their child is dead and possibly murdered, they're not too worried about being sued. They pretty well got their hands full with the shock and denial of the loss of a 16-year-old baby. So who's really having to construct a really unsavory narrative? You should not be projecting these things onto a mother of a dead child. That's just not right.
If they're wrong, but they did create a narrative that Jagger had shown up and called a tow truck with Kylie the next day after she had gone missing.
They didn't create that. The tow truck driver did. No.
Well, but they put it in their video though, didn't they?
Is it?
I'm sorry, Glare. It was their experience. They're not projecting anything. They're not making up anything. They're not using their imagination. It really happened to AWP. They really did have a guy contact them and say, hey, I watch you guys on YouTube. I understand you guys are going to be in my area looking for that missing girl. Well, let me tell you what I saw. And by the way, I contacted the police and my boss was contacted. And the police asked my boss to lock down all the videos and retain the evidence so that we can, use it in an investigation. This kid, Nick, goes on television or on YouTube with AWP and tells his entire story. AWP puts out a tenth of the entire conversation with Nick. A tenth. Now Glare is saying that somehow that was nefarious, that AWP was making up some kind of lie, that he's in cahoots with Jagger and Kylie. Just keep watching. It's getting crazy. And remember the rant against clickbait that used Ryan Upchurch's name, Kylie Rodney's name, and Sammy Smith's name. Oh, that Sammy has an attorney. Just keep listening. It's crazy.
Is it coming out of their mouth?
It's a little irresponsible, right?
Is it coming out of their mouth?
So now everybody...
That's a piece of evidence, dude. What are you talking about? It's a piece of evidence.
It's not. It's not.
How is it not a piece of fucking evidence?
why would she be at 11 a.m. the next day after she's been gone, seen by a tow truck driver in near a body of water that's 30 minutes away, and then she's actually found at the body of water right near the party?
How does that make sense? That is the point of them interviewing the guy. They knew he was full of shit. They interviewed him. Hello.
No, because they spun the narrative that there was foul play through the whole video.
Hang on. I got a question.
And
I want to say something here, Clara. Quiet for a second. I don't know if the wording is wrong. I don't know if things are coming across, but anyone that's in here that's true crime, let me just tell you what I think Ryan is trying to say. Since when do we automatically just trust the police's word? Since when do we automatically trust just because someone says something publicly? We don't. We question everything. So
everything. I question the tow truck driver. I still think he's on bullshit. I
think the tow truck driver is totally full of shit.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. I think Ryan is taking it too far in certain.
I do not believe that the tow truck driver is full of it. I do not. I trust AWP. They have their professional reputation. They're 100% dependent on the public, meaning their reputation needs to be intact. I see no reason why they would put a guy on their video, what perhaps one of the biggest videos they ever do, so up to now. Why would they put a guy on there that they felt like was lying and full of it? Why would they do that? They clearly believed this young man because they went to that lake first. They believed him. He had a credible story. These are intelligent men. I'm talking about the AWP guys, Nick, Jared, and Doug. These are intelligent men. They are measured and logical. They're rational. They're not just running around, flying off by the seat of their pants, being emotional. They heard this guy's story. They took the time to listen, and they believed him. So while everybody's sitting around going, "Oh, tow truck's full of shit, tow truck driver's full of shit. Don't believe tow truck driver, tow truck driver." I want to go on record right here. I believe the tow truck driver because I believe AWP. I think they're intelligent and logical. And I don't believe there's a snowball's chance in hell that they would put a guy in their documentary that they believed would later come out to be just a crazy guy looking for 15 minutes of fame, or even worse, maybe someone that was involved in the disappearance. I want to go on record. I believe the tow truck driver because I have faith in AWP.
Instances, but all Ryan is saying is A, show me a picture that she exists at this party, and B, I'm not taking the word of the police or ME. Show me.
Oh my God, dude. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. You're going to get statements from the police. You're going to get press conferences and statements from the police. Because you're going to get statements, but you're not going to get documentation because she is a minor. So you're just going to have to take law enforcement's word for it.
Documentation on other minors.
In the state of California,
Glera, Abby, and Libby of Delphi, they're minors. Summer Wells, minor. A victim of a crime, although they may be a minor, they will release information on them if it supports the investigation or prosecution.
the parents have the right to steal the records.
If it's released by the
in the state of California, that's the rule. That's the law.
Exactly. These people don't want facts like me and you do. They just want to get on their show.
Oh my God.
This is where Ryan is coming from, and I think because
Laura, you sound so crazy right now.
Ass any deeper?
You're not crazy, Laura.
Get any deeper in there.
Laura does not sound crazy right now. Laura's kind of being an interpreter. And you guys, while you're trying to appear measured and intellectual, you're using Ryan Upchurch. You're using him to get fame for yourself. If you really disagreed with him, if you really disagreed with the things he was saying, if you disagreed with the way he behaves, there's no way in hell that you would go up on that panel with him. No way.
Laura, please,
a lot of things he says, and I know Kylie exists, and anytime he wants some proof, I will show
then why
him
are you
proof.
kissing his ass so much? You're not making,
I'm
you're
not,
making
dude.
the least sense out of anybody.
Kissing ass, Glamour? Seen you do that. But let's talk about that. What's the exact opposite of kissing ass? Being antagonistic, right? Intentionally looking for a fight or for a disagreement. But it's funny that, you know, Laura is pretty much saying the same thing that Ryan is saying, but you're not being antagonistic toward Laura. Why? Why aren't you going after Perplex QT in the same way that you're going after Upchurch? Because Perplex QT is not a celebrity. You are using virtue signaling and you're being clickbaity and you're just trying to get extra subs, in my opinion, by using a celebrity who is in public behaving badly.
At all.
He disagrees with me all the time, dude. What are you talking about?
You know what? If anybody else in the community had this reaction that Ryan has had, they'd be treated totally different, Laura, and you know it.
I would be saying,
how would they be treated? What would happen if somebody came out, for example, and said, think of an example here. How would they be treated if somebody came out and said that Nicole was in the basement the morning that Chris Watts killed Shanann and the girls? That Shanann's best friend, Nikki, was in the basement, spent the night there, came home with Shanann after getting off the airplane and went down and slept in the basement as Chris killed the girls and Shanann upstairs. How would they be treated? Oh, you would subscribe to their channel, wouldn't you?
the exact same things I'm saying now. Just
I
like
don't
I
know.
called
She
him
would.
out before anybody else.
You're kissing his
For
ass because you're
everyone
hoping
else
he'll
to
jump
bring
on your
call
panel
him
one
out.
day and get you
For
views. That's the
I've already
only
jumped on her
motivation
panel.
you have.
Call him out.
Shoot. Y'all didn't hear a word I said, did you? Damn it. Okay, let me start over. So Glarer is saying exactly the same thing. They're all fluttering around Ryan. Some of them are fluttering around trying to get us friendship. Some are fluttering around him trying to be the badass that takes Ryan Upchurch down because Ryan has been so offensive to people that Glarer wants to be the guy. So Glara says, "Oh, Laura's up here agreeing with Ryan because she just wants that. She's just hoping that Ryan will jump up on her panel one day and get her some subscribers." I'm sorry, Glara. How many panels that Ryan was already on that you jumped up on the panel to interject yourself, to do your particular brand of virtue signaling, to show and demonstrate to the entire YouTube true crime community what a civil and kind and thoughtful man you are, as compared to, the outspoken, cursing, conspiratorial singer. Here's the truth, Glara and others. Here's the truth. If Ryan Upchurch got up every morning and put his clothes on, put his boots on, and went down in the coal mines, mining coal all day, and at the end of the day, he comes home, he takes a shower, and then he gets on YouTube for a couple hours every night to talk about his opinions on true crime, you guys would not give him the time of day. If Ryan Upchurch got up every morning and put his little uniform on and went up to McDonald's and sold hamburgers all day long and got up on panels saying exactly the same thing he's saying right now, you wouldn't care. You might listen and go, "Oh, well, this guy sounds a little nutty, but oh well." And you would speak over him. Some of you might feel sorry for him and try to befriend him so that he doesn't feel out of place on the panel. But one thing I know for certain, you would not rail against this guy and follow him from chat to chat, telling him what a horrible, disrespectful monster he is, that he is the sole obstacle to Kylie's mother to keep her from grieving. That's just absurd. You are doing exactly the same thing that you're accusing others of doing. You're just doing it in a backward way. The reality is, Upchurch doesn't want to talk about his music. He doesn't want to talk about who he is. He's not done any of that. He has a real interest in just being a part of the conversation. You don't believe me? Go to Zavgirl's channel and watch him on her panels. He is respectful. He is polite. And people don't slobber all over him. Nobody says, "Oh, Ryan, I want to talk about your music." He's allowed to state his ideas. And I've seen Zav a couple of times go, "Hold on a minute, Ryan, hold on a minute," and shut him down because somebody else is saying something or she has a thought she wants to put out there. And he's not the big controlling, "What the hell? You can't tell me to shut up. Don't you know who I am?" None of that foolishness. In fact, I've seen him kind of like put his hand over his mouth like, "Oh God, sorry," catch himself, say, "Oh my God, sorry." Truth be known, I don't run in any of these circles. I like Laura. So me and Perplexed, we talk every now and then. I just get irritated at hypocrisy. I laugh when I see people projecting and accusing others of doing exactly what they're doing in the moment. So, Glara, if you really didn't like Upchurch, if you're really offended by the way he talks and acts, why do you keep jumping up on all these panels with him? I mean, it's almost like you're looking for him. Oh, I wonder where Ryan is tonight. I wonder what panel Ryan's on tonight. If you don't like him, why don't you just leave him alone? Oh, well, I have to stand up for him. I have to stand up for AWP. He's not giving them money. He's supposed to give them $100,000 and it's not right. And he should give it to them. I'm sorry, Glara, but I'm going to let you know a secret. Jared Doug, even Nick, they're grown ass men. They can get the money. You have zero idea what kind of agreement AWP and Ryan Upchurch have together related to finances. You don't know. You have no idea because it's none of your business. Just like Upchurch, he's not entitled to a photograph of Kylie at the party. He's not a detective. There's an investigation going on. The cops don't care if we don't believe them. They're not going to give us a picture of Kylie at the party. It could be something that needs to be shown in a court of law one day. So cool your heels, Glare. Quit trying to use Ryan Upchurch for your channel growth. The guy's he's not here as a celebrity. He doesn't want to be a celebrity here. He wants to be you, and he wants to be Laura, and he wants to be Zav Girl. He just wants to have a conversation. That's all. He's not trying to benefit off of these discussions. He's talking about this crap in the middle of the night when he's by himself. He's not out wild ass drunk carrying on. Most nights he's at home by himself. He's just trying to be part of the conversation. I don't know why this is hard for people to understand.
Out. Who called him out?
The only motivation you have, Laura.
Yeah, you are the only person that called me out the right way with actual conversation.
And I have called him out before anybody. I told him he better fucking apologize. I called him out for anybody.
She did say that.
No, she talks really nicely to you, and that's why you haven't jumped at her.
No, she's actually cussed me
people
before.
that speak in a blunt way. I haven't disrespected you at all, and you called me a dumb heifer.
I haven't since I got on this panel. I've made plenty of videos.
I don't even get along with the Glare, and it pains me to fucking get a.
Yeah, you know that's not true. You know that's not true because you've addressed me directly many times.
Like a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, I don't want your fucking shit videos. What are you talking about?
We all know you're lying because you've addressed me several times.
Look, see, now he's making it about him. See, perplexed. I just tricked his ass into making it about him.
Oh my god, this is so. You're so tricky, Ryan. You got one up on all of us. You're so tricky, buddy.
Yeah, you're a fucking heifer. Shut up.
See, now you see that response, Will? Like that response tells me all I need to know.
Yeah, you're a fucking heifer. Go look in the mirror.
I would have been booted off for doing that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ryan, you know, when you responded to her like that, all you did was give her a story. That's all you did. You just gave her a story. Why not just ignore the bullshit? Just let them try to, glide along on your coattails. You've got plenty of people in the true crime community that will let you have a conversation. It's shocking. It's shocking.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, because no one gives a fuck about your shit channel. No shit.
Well, no, I think it's more because we have more concern.
I'm sorry about that.
Because you have 3 million subs.
Yeah, and you have
what you say,
people
listen to. Because you know why? Because people listen to you and they fucking take your word because you're a celebrity.
And Glare over here.
Okay, so if you are a Ryan Upchurch fan, you listen to his music, go to his concerts, yada yada. This woman, I don't know who she is, but she just called you stupid. She just called you dumb. She said, oh, because you got 3 million fans, you've got 3 million subscribers, Ryan, and they listen to you and they just believe you. Whatever you say, they believe you. I don't think so. I think when people hear Ryan say Kylie Rodney is not real, I think people go, oh, what's wrong with Ryan? Is Ryan okay? What's the deal? Is Ryan manic? Is he on drugs? Is Ryan going crazy? Is he drunk? I don't think that his 3 million fans are all going, oh, Kylie's not real. Nope, she's not real. It's all just a script. You remember that one? Y'all remember that? It's a script, I tell you. It's a script. No, he does not have 3 million subscribers who are willing to accept, that the moon is made of cheese. And how dare you accuse those 3 million people of being sheep?
Here can't get a fucking functioning relationship, and it's all fucking obvious.
But he doesn't
But
watch me.
You can't have a
I can tell by the way you talk.
you can't have an adult like discussion though without getting in your feelings about having your feet held to the fire about the things you've said.
Right.
Like what?
Like calling this
Like-
a GoFundMe scam and thinking that you're
It is a
entitled to these
GoFundMe
documents.
Is it true that today they turned off the GoFundMe? Did y'all see that? Did anybody see that? Please don't mention. Oh, thank you, Muffin Top. You're a sweetheart. Scarlett, I was speaking to you, Scarlett, or for you, Scarlett. Did y'all see where the GoFundMe got turned off? Yeah, right. But you know what I think that is? I think it's turned off because they have a criminal investigation. What do you think, misconduct? Could that be the result of a criminal investigation? Yeah, it did get turned off today, Ash. It got shut down. They actually even made an announcement, like it was in the newspaper. Yeah, so maybe that is our first kind of suggestion, like evidence that we know now there's a criminal investigation, right? It's crazy. Oh my gosh, this case has gotten so out of hand. All right, let's see what's going on. I feel like I should be playing. Oh, hold on just a minute. I'll do it. Hold on. It's a circus.
Okay, all right. Queen, there's no point in
I
this
was gonna
shit.
say
We're
what
done.
you say, honey.
There's no point in this
I
shit.
don't think it's a GoFundMe scam at all. This, I mean, like I said, her mom was sitting there bawling, and I thought she agreed and was, related to this case because her mom was so upset and because you had a younger sister. That this is what you said in your video.
You're the lady on Molly Go Lightly. I don't care about nothing you say.
No, I'm not. I don't get along with Molly Go Lightly. Laura, tell him.
I
No,
can't
don't
with
get
this
along with
woman.
Molly at all. No, I
Look at
do
all
not.
these people laughing about a dead little girl. Isn't that fucked up?
No, we're
No,
laughing about Molly.
you.
We're laughing at you.
What
Don't
does
try
it
to
matter?
twist it, babe.
Look at you, dude. You got noodle arms. You fucking go to the gym probably, and your life sucks.
Okay,
you can tell in your face.
Okay, I'm gonna make a comment about this. That is 5th grade mentality right there. To take a conversation and then get emotional and then turn it into, well, what do you look like? This is what you look like. The next thing would be to say, well, you don't have any friends. No one likes you. 5th grade mentality. So Ryan is not doing himself any favors. This looked really bad.
You wish Ryan Upchurch watched your shitty fucking videos.
And I'm making
But he knows Ryan
you're
Upchurch
mad- and you're
watches his
mad
shitty
because
videos.
And I always get kind of icky feeling about anyone who refers to himself like, in 3rd person. Ryan Upchurch did this today, and Ryan Upchurch, I don't like it.
But I'm making this about drama, right? That's
Right.
What
the
have you
fear that
solved,
I'm gonna make
asshole?
this
How
about
long you
drama.
had your true crime page? Have you
I'm
solved anything?
I'm really glad that you asked me that. I don't try to solve crime cases.
Then
because
why do
I'm
you
not
have a true
qualified
crime
to.
channel, dummy?
I collect facts made available to me,
Nah,
and then I
you spread
report them
drama
and
like a
give
little
my
girl.
opinions on
You're
them.
Okay, so Glera says, it's hard to hear because Ryan's having a temper tantrum. Glera says he collects facts, he reports on them, and then he gives his opinion. I think that is a perfect description of what we do on a YouTube true crime channel.
a beta male. I can
That's
tell.
what I do,
I'll beat
and I
your ass
call
in
out
2
people
seconds.
like
You're
you.
a beta male.
I call out
beta
people
male
like you who do things incredibly irresponsibly that affect the families of these victims.
Whatever.
Virtue signaling. That's virtue signaling, Claire. It's not a good look. Okay? No. You're not protecting victims' families. Maybe maybe a few months to a year or so after the crime. But in the immediate aftermath, where there is acute reaction to trauma, and there's now what appears to be a criminal investigation, I promise, Glare, her family doesn't know anything about all this. I promise. They don't care. They're in grief for their baby. They don't care about this circus, this 3-ring circus on YouTube. They don't care.
You have
Sissy,
3
come
million
pull up,
people.
motherfucker. I know you're in Nashville. Won't you come
Wow.
pull up and say it to my face?
Oh
I'm
my
in
god.
Oh my God, Ryan. Don't say
Hey,
Say-
All right, well,
Say it to my face, Cooper. Say it to my face. Now we got Ryan going, say it to my face, Glare. Say it to my face. Yeah, don't try to resist that urge, Ryan.
bring your ass down here. I'll give you money.
That's-
You come say it to my face. You
Oh,
want it.
I mean, that's-
you're saying that he's in his feelings, but now you're saying you want to fight
I'm
him?
just
Right.
proving y'all are all bitches and liars.
Like this is the argument of a 10-year-old that
This
is
is
not getting
exactly
his
how I
way.
pictured it would
In
go,
all
too.
fairness,
Exactly.
Proven me
Hold on.
right.
I've been in Ryan's position where I'm on a panel and I'm being attacked
God,
by
dude.
6 fucking people. I get why he's flipping out. I've done it.
Blair got picked
Yeah,
on in high school.
I agree,
Laura,
Laura.
he brought himself up here. Okay.
Yeah.
And people tried to speak with him respectfully, and he's stomping his feet and like taking his ball home kind of shit.
She's
Don't
right, though.
don't even try that. The stuff that's happened to you, Laura, is way
right.
different.
I'm sitting here. It's 1 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
That's right.
and y'all still losing. 5 of y'all
Nobody's
can't
trying
tell
to
me nothing.
harm
Why?
Ryan. People have tried to harm you, Laura. That's totally different. People have doxed you, Laura. Nobody's trying to harm Ryan.
Laura,
People are
if you-
asking Ryan why he says
No, people are not trying to harm him. People are trying to be offensive and attack him for their own personal gain. Like I said, if he were dishing out McDonald's hamburgers every day, or he was working in a coal mine, or hell, even if he was a fisherman on a shrimp boat in the Gulf of Mexico, no one would have a reaction to his opinions. No one. He would actually have people that would be listening to him and going, yeah, dude, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. But because he is a celebrity, you guys are glomming on thinking this is a way to get people to notice me. I can be the guy that stood up to Ryan Upchurch. I can be the guy that told Ryan Upchurch that he was being rude or horrible, and that by comparison, I'm a much better person because I use my channel to help victims' families. But Ryan Upchurch uses his 3 million subscribers to do evil in the world. You want to know where his 3 million subscribers came from? His music. His music. Those are people that listen to his music. He's also a comedian. If you go and look at his YouTube channel before he started getting into some of this true crime stuff, he puts out information being funny. So I don't know who the hell why people think they have the authority to stand up and say, oh, I'm going to be the authority on what Ryan Upchurch can do with his 3 million subscribers. Why do you think that that's in your wheel well? How is it your business to determine whether he's doing good or bad with the 3 million people that like his music? How that you guys can try to put out that you're being these moral police on YouTube, but you and I know that is not what you're doing. You're taking an opportunity. You see a celebrity, you recognize you will probably never have another opportunity to get to know somebody with his level of fame. Possibly you're worried about his fortune. And you're taking it. This is an opportunistic dive to try to get a few subscribers. Now I'm gonna come to the chat. Tell me if you guys think I'm off base here. Okay, we're gonna have a conversation about this. I'm gonna put there's a link that you can come up on panel if you want to put in your opinion about this. Or you could just leave a comment and I can read it. He's still rude, right, Barbara? I'm with you on that. Totally. Heidi is disappointed. Why are you disappointed, Heidi? You can say it in the comment, Elizabeth. Misconduct. That was a mistake on timeout. My phone slipped in my hands. Uh-oh. Therese, misconduct got a timeout. I'm so sorry, misconduct. Okay, here we go. I'm lost in my own. There we go. Packless Jones. Oh, I think I saw you, Packless.
Yeah, I was on the panel.
Yeah, I remember.
See, I'm on the bottom of the screen right there.
Okay, well, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I got on there because I've been watching this from the get-go, and I feel like he's just off the rocker now. At the beginning, I thought that he kind of was on to something with the just Ickmill and Ronnie and Zanime all trying to come up with YouTube channels, anime. Ickmill doing it for more clicks. Saw, hey, Ryan Upchurch is here, milked that for all he could.
Yeah.
And then it got a little out of hand. And then I believe that from there, he just went like off the rocker. I mean, like,
it's gotten deep. It's gotten weird.
He was misinterpreting information. Like, he was saying this information. He was like, wow, look at this. Bam, I got you. And it was like, dude, you're not reading that information correctly. And he did it with so many things. That was the problem. And so that's why I got on today, because I just, like, this has been blowing my mind. I've always felt it was an accident. And all these people are just, like, everybody, including Ryan, are just doing this for clout. Start a YouTube channel for, if you already have know how many YouTube channels have started for true crime that have started, and they're just from this case. They're just, and if you have the mass opinion that it's foul play, they're gonna send you super chats and all this stuff, and everyone thinks you're the best. You're looking out for Kylie, but if you have an opinion or accent, you're a troll, and it's ridiculous. And with Ryan, you can't talk to him. He has no, like, you should, you'll see it if you watch the video. I start talking about this and including him in, like I just did, like getting clout. I don't care if it's YouTube channels monetized. YouTube is so small in the world. No one knows about this case. Or where I live in Florida. No one knows about this case. No, my girlfriend, I'm driving her nuts with this crap, dude. She's like telling me just stop it. And I'm like, dude, someone has to explain that this is what's going on. 90% of the people are thinking foul play because it's keeping the story going. It's giving them something to talk about. If it's an accident, there's nothing to talk about.
But I have to disagree with you about that, Packless. I have been watching this case since the very beginning. Okay, the very beginning. And I initially, my position was that I thought that Sammy was shady because she knew that Kylie was drunk and she should not have left her friend alone. Right? That was my original thought. As the details have come out and we've learned more and more, I am now firmly in the arena that at the very least there was a terrible accident and there was a cover up. So and that's coming from me listening and watching, listening to all the press conferences by the law enforcement, the Sammy, the kids that were there, and then AWP's evidence, the direction of the car. And I just think at this point, it's very difficult not to believe that something went bad that night.
No, understood. It's possible for sure. I mean, there's a lot of factors that are involved in that. I mean, let me tell you my theory real quick, and then that'll kind of
Sure.
explain where I'm at.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I feel like she was at the party. She's a young girl, and her so-called friends aren't friends. They left her there. She just wanted to get home. I've been there 100 times. You want to get home, man. And being a young person like that, you need to be home. If you had parents like mine, if you weren't home, there was a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, I mean, maybe she had a little bit more leeway or whatever. So she tried to go home. It was when the thing, I mean, or whatever. It was an accident like that. And that's why there hasn't been a lot of stuff, people knowing what happened and like seeing her, besides a few people at the party. And it just seems like that's the most plausible because I always say for an accident to happen, you don't need anything else. It's an accident. It could be a million different ways of an accident. You don't even have to be drunk. You don't even have to be on drugs. You don't have to be anything. You could hit the gas and thought it was the brake. Like it's a real accident. For anything else, it would have to be some if or some other factor to be involved. So I just look at it the simplest way, like why wouldn't that be the thing? And I feel like a lot of people, like I was saying, 90% of the people, for whatever reason, want to believe that this is foul play. And
Well,
YouTube is
so
eating them up, because if you go that way and you talk about that, then everyone's on your side and everyone's happy. And like,
now I'm going to agree with you. There are people that were not talking about this case. They didn't even know the name Kylie Rodney. And at
yeah.
this point now that AWP has gotten involved, Ryan Upchurch has gotten involved. Now some of the bigger channels are starting to cover it, and it's all about clout chasing, trying to get those views, right? So I'm agreeing with you. They recognize this is another Chris Watts, Watts Island problem, and it's a huge case now, right?
Yeah, but
So
a lot of those people don't believe that they're like, oh, we're not talking about accident anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're like, it's not an accident. It's like
oh
it's off the
no, now
table.
it's criminal.
Well,
Now they're talking about it as criminal. That's right.
well, I'm saying, yeah, but I'm saying like we don't know. We're hearing hearsay. There is no facts that we know yet, really.
Well, we
When you
do
think
have some
about it,
facts. We
what
have there. It is fact that Kylie was found in the boot of the car. That is a fact.
that's the only suspicious thing about it. But there is a way that she could have
There
got back there
there is
with
a
it being an
fact.
accident.
It is a fact that when that car came to rest at the bottom of the reservoir, the headlights were facing out toward the lake and it was upside down. It was only 14 feet of water. There wasn't enough space for there to be multiple gymnastics of the car. It had enough space to turn one time. The only way that could have happened was the car was backed into the water. That's a fact.
Well, I thought that someone said for it to get out the 55 feet that it was, that the car had to be going like 15 to 20 miles an hour to make it out that distance. because if you just roll a car in, it may do the turtle, but
Yeah,
it
but
would
that's
do it a lot
the
quicker with the windows down and everything. It's
yeah,
gonna
with the
make that.
buoyancy, sure, but you've got the battle between the weight of the engine and the air in the tires, and it almost acts like an engine.
Well, a lot of
Where Go ahead.
Well, a lot of people. I understand. So you're saying that it couldn't have went in straight ahead, and because a lot of people are saying that it nosed over, end over end flipped, and then a lot of people are saying that it turtled, like was still nose diving because the engine, but went to the right or to the left, as
But why
opposed
would
to
it do that? Think
passing
about
going over.
this.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
so
saying.
think
You're saying it flipped over end over end.
Yeah, because the weight of your engine is distributed equally from the left side to the right side. You don't have a heavier part of the engine on the right or the left. It's
Yeah,
equal so that the car rides comfortably.
but if the
So
front
what would be
window
the
was open.
action? What would be the action that would turn the car on its
the
side?
the front passenger window was open, so the water would be filling in the car a little more on that side, so that would make it. And then all you need to do is have a little bit of a turn, and the tires and the buoyancy from that would turn it the rest of the way. And
You
as
had
it
a
turned, there would still be air in the interior of the car. So that's
yeah.
another bit of buoyancy. So you had the full engine pulling it down. So in well, all I was gonna say was if it flipped over end over end, like back and the nose went down first and then the back came and flipped over it, that would be more of a credence that she can try to get up to the last bit of air because the car would be more likely or vertical in the water.
No,
If we're going by that theory, then the car would be totally nose down with the ass end up. So she can go up there. There would definitely be air in that top section, which would be the back of the car. You see what I'm
the
saying?
I do see what you're saying, but in addition to the passenger side window being down, the back window behind the driver was also down. So you would have water coming in from both sides, and the water inside the car does not weigh more than the water outside the car. They're both fresh water. They weigh exactly the same. It's gonna follow a path to keep level surface. The surface remains horizontal with water. It doesn't
Yeah, but if the
the
car's nosing down, that would be the water would be rushing in from the passenger side before it would be rushing in from the other side. You know what I mean? It
No,
would.
it's going to take 7 seconds for that car to go down, for that car to be underwater. It's fast. If the windows are down, it's coming in like a water hose for a fire truck.
So you don't think
And
at any time, if it was 7 seconds, at any time, she would still have air in her lungs if she was alive, where her buoyancy would take her to up as the car was flipping. If she jumped out of the seat, and that's what I say too. When you jump out of the passenger seat or the driver's seat, and you're in the middle of the car and you start to head back, you're already in the back seat. So to go that other little bit of distance isn't a huge stretch, in my opinion. Like the
okay,
inside of a car is only 10 feet, maybe
right,
12 feet. The
right,
passenger of the car, most cars are 14, 15 from bumper to bumper. So the
right.
inside of the car is much smaller. Not much, but I'll give you 12 feet, we'll say, inside the
Yeah,
car. So if you're 5 foot, 6 foot, you get out of the driver's seat and you're in the middle of trying to go head back, you're already in the back seat in the hatch. Your head's in the hatch already. At least for me, I'm 6 foot. The car is
right.
only 12 foot. So to
But
go
if
that little bit
you're
of extra distance, it's not a big stretch. And for her to hit the water in 7 seconds and the car's underwater, how is anyone prepared for that? Especially in the dark. She at the very least she was disoriented. If no alcohol, no drugs,
100%,
or nothing were involved, she was
yeah,
at the very least disoriented when she hit the water.
I
If she was
agree.
driving,
I agree.
you
Yeah,
don't
I
know
agree.
yet. And
Now, if
yeah,
she's in the driver's seat, think about this. If she's in the driver's seat and water is coming in the passenger side at the rate of a fireman's water hose, that water is pretty much going to pin her into that seat. Would you agree?
Yeah, there's a good chance that she was trying to get out of the seat and didn't get out right away. But at some point, if you're, I'm going by your theory of the car sinking, the nose is going
Yeah.
down, so the water is going to be filled at that point before the very back of the car. So
Right.
at some point, she's just going to be in water, and she'll be able to move out of the seat. The water isn't going to be rushing against her at that point. I mean, you
Now,
said 7 seconds. 7 seconds. I mean, if no one can hold their breath for 7 seconds, then I don't know. You're pretty much screwed in any situation. You
well,
know what I
I
mean?
mean, yeah, no, for sure. And I think that between Mythbusters and AWP, I think they've pretty well proven if you are in that car when it's full, you're not getting out. I mean, they've pretty well said once that car hits the water, you better be crawling out the window. There's no waiting.
Well, yeah, if you looked at all those little scenarios that they did, they never, like most of them, I don't believe the car even submerged all the way. In a lot of those cases, and the reporter people, or whoever was doing it, they were freaking out in the first like 5 seconds. And they had an air tank, 2 dudes on either side of them,
Yeah.
guiding them and everything. I mean, that's a scary situation. And to hear people
Horrifying.
say, I just jump out the side window, it was open. The passenger, I'm like, come on, people, really? I
No,
mean,
yeah, you wouldn't have.
this thought
Only once the water was about halfway up the car open window, then it wouldn't have been quite as violent coming in. It's just like putting your thumb over the end of a water hose, right? If you're covering the whole end, the water's coming out with more pressure. If you move your thumb over so that there's more water, it's not coming out as hard. So by the time there was already water in the car, then she would have been able to get out. But you got to remember this too. There's a short period of time from the weight of the engine pulling the nose of the car down. Then the buoyancy from the tires is exerting an opposite force, which is that's actually the engine that drives that flip. So when the car's straight up and down, it's not going to hang around like that, like with the Titanic, because the Titanic was filled with air. This car, the windows were open. There was not any air. There wasn't much air left in the car. So as soon as it went up and down, it didn't have much time at all before the buoyancy of the tires would have taken control and pulled it up, which would have flipped it on over then at that point.
Understood. I mean, and there's still a slight chance that she was already, halfway back there at that point, and like I said, that little bit of extra pushing her in there, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. I admit, from my whole theory, when that came out that she was found in the very back, that's the biggest red flag for me too,
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely made me think twice about my theory. But looking at everything, I mean, it is a possibility still. So that's why I'm just not jumping on the guilty train, because man,
Sure.
I mean, where do we go from there? I mean, just imagine if it's not an accident, this thing has been just tortured. I mean, you got the tow truck driver, you got Sammy saying something, Jagger saying so much stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point.
Well, I will tell you this. If it does turn out that this is a criminal act, I think Sammy is in big trouble. She has gone on so many YouTube channels. It's always recorded. She's got a big problem. She's going to have a big problem.
Yeah.
And the gossip from the people, I don't follow Sammy or Jagger. I'm not going to invade their privacy, none of that. But there are people that do follow them, and they're claiming that Sammy Smith is saying on her social media that her parents have hired 2 attorneys for her, that she has 2 criminal attorneys. Also, today in the newspaper, they came out that they shut off the GoFundMe for Kylie Rodney. So they've ended the GoFundMe and they're holding the funds. So that sort of suggests to me a criminal investigation as well.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy should have lawyered up from the beginning.
Oh my gosh. if
ran
she
her
was
mouth
my
way too much.
child. I know, my God, it was just listening to her. I was shaking my head. Everybody was saying her, like either her mom or her dad is an attorney. And I was thinking, where are they? If they're attorneys, where are they? She can't keep her story straight. She keeps changing what she said. The cops are coming out and saying, you know, the phone turned off at 12:33, but she's claiming to have had a phone conversation with Kylie at 12:36. So,
A couple
she's in
minutes to
trouble.
be mistaken, I believe in that. I mean, I don't, but it's weird because if you're gonna say it, you would think she would look at her phone and know for sure that was the time.
Yeah. And then Jagger on his I think it was Instagram that, or maybe it was TikTok, but he came out and told people that if they have evidence about Kylie to bring it to him, that the cops wanted him to go through the evidence and that he would weed through it, and the credible stuff he would forward to the police. And I just thought, that just didn't happen. That's not reality. But that's what he claims.
But you can look
That's what he claimed.
but you can look at it the same way as with Sammy. Maybe they let her to do it. Let her, ring, let the rope out herself. You know what I mean? Like, just talk the game and let her get all this information, and just to see if she messes up or slips up or something. Because who would let her like talk and say all that stuff? It doesn't make much sense. And you could say the same thing with the tow truck driver. Maybe AWP was like, man, this dude's kind of suspect. We're gonna get him on video and say, yeah, you're gonna be on our video. We're gonna talk about, before we go out and look for Kylie, and tell us that you saw Kylie, or you think you saw Kylie, and they could have been doing that for law enforcement, and turned all their information over to law enforcement for it.
Oh,
It's just,
I
these
think
people
they
are
did.
sticking their nose and everything, and it's just weird. I don't know, but this live that you have on screen or whatever, Ronnie
Yeah.
came in afterwards after Ryan left.
Rando Ronnie did?
Yeah, red flag Ronnie did, man.
No.
That black guy one.
Oh my God.
And he was talking.
What was he saying?
He was just like, he was listening, I guess, since like for a couple hours about it, and he was like, yeah, you can't talk to him. He's like, I know that I can't have a conversation, and basically he said he's suing them for defamation of character, and that's in the works, and he admitted to that. And then we talked a lot of stuff. We got to ask him some questions. The panel did. It was pretty cool. And I asked him, I was like, what do you think happened? What's your theory in the case, if you can say it? And he's like, I think it was an accident. I think that, she was messed up and had an accident. And he said that his cousins were there and they did see Kylie, and she did seem intoxicated to his cousins, and that him and his cousins went to the police and told them the story. They had interviews with the police. Before Ronnie went on Ikmel's channel, and he said he didn't know Ikmel or anything. He says he didn't know Zanime, and he's friends with Zanime now through all this. They connected because of this, and they're friends now, is what he said. But he didn't know Ikmel. He just went on the channel. He was following them for some other case. I can't remember what he said, which case it was. But then he was like, so I would go on and check out Ikmel every once in a while. And he asked his cousins for permission to tell their story about what they saw at the party. And that they said, yes, just don't say her name. And then Ryan Upchurch happened, and the rest is history,
Yeah.
And that was basically it. And he did admit that he is suing them. And his lawyer said that probably, he could talk about the case, or, talk about what happened in some aspects, but don't say anything basically about or to Ryan, pretty much, for lack of a better knowledge of what exactly was said to him from his lawyer.
Yeah. So what do you make of what do you make of Rando Ronnie?
He was credible,
saying that that Kylie had been drunk earlier in the day.
I didn't hear that. He did say that in the conversation. I never really heard.
He did say that. He said that he said that he said it was something about the timeline, and he ends up blurting out. He gets frustrated, and he ends up blurting out to Ryan. He ends up blurting out. He says, "My cousin saw her earlier in the day. She was drunk already earlier in the day."
Yeah, I mean,
And everybody said, "What? Earlier in the day? What are you talking about? They saw her earlier in the day?" "Oh, well, I mean, like when they saw her like at 8 or 9 o'clock." And everybody's going, "Well, that's funny because she didn't get there till 10. So what do you mean you saw her earlier in the day?"
I think
He's
he
got
probably embellished that
he
fact or that
he
that
has a
opinion.
real problem. He has a real problem with his storyline.
Well, I think he just embellished in a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff maybe was from his cousins, and like the actual story of what they saw or what they thought, who they thought they saw or whatever. And then he added some more sensationalizing to it, just to be like, yeah, back
Right.
in my day, because there was a lot of back in my day, he said too, we would go to parties like this and do this. And, it wasn't always about that party, the whole conversation, from what I gathered. I mean, I could be wrong, but he did say, I told him, I go, Ronnie, I go, I think that because Tiffany Marie was in there, I know everybody knows her, and she was like kind of sticking up for Ryan and like dogging Ronnie out. And I was like, well, and I told Ronnie, I go, basically, I believe everyone has a problem with you, or everyone that does have a problem with you is because they feel like you went the extra mile to troll Ryan, And he's like, I admit I did troll him. And he's like,
But hold
he,
on. I don't
yeah.
mean to interrupt to stop your thought, but you hit on something very important right there, and that's like the whole topic of my life. Is Ronnie trolled Ryan? Is Xana May trolled Ryan? She was egging him on that first time with what's that channel name? Dream Chaser.
Yeah.
And so what, at the same time that people are saying that, oh, you're using clickbait and you're trying to you're only doing this because you want to be friends with Ryan Upchurch or whatever. There's a whole group of you guys that are being really aggressive towards Ryan and trying to kind of white knight and get clout by going against him, by saying, "Oh, your ideas are so crazy. You're so crazy, man." And my point is, you wouldn't give a damn what his opinion was. You wouldn't care what he was saying if he, got up every morning and went to work as an oil field worker. It wouldn't occur to you to follow him around from panel to panel and try to challenge him, and like Claire has done. So,
oh no, Glare, that whole situation was ridiculous. I left actually when they were fighting and stuff. I left the panel for like an hour and then I came back. And
okay.
I was like, I was surprised they were even back on. So you'll see. I leave. I was like, this is a shit show, and I fucking left.
It turned
Like,
into
sorry
a shit
about my
show.
language, but that's what it turned into. I was like, what's
Yeah.
going on? And like,
Yeah.
you can't talk to Ryan, man. He's like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. It's
No,
like, dude, we can't
but
have a
see,
conversation. It doesn't make any sense, man.
but
Like
look,
that's the worst part about it. Like, I don't care about this. I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm not doing this for clout. My girlfriend's mad at me because I'm doing this,
why?
and I'm like, someone has to set this dude right, man. He's interpreting
No,
so much information. It's ridiculous, man. Like
but explain to me. It helped me
and
understand.
he's doxing people. It's ridiculous, man. Like, he doesn't realize that. And I use this, and I say this all the time. YouTube is so minute. It's small. It's so there. It's in the grand scheme of things. It's so small. No one cares unless you're on YouTube. So like it's not about he's famous or whatever. It's about the people not telling the truth on things. Like with the girl he was saying was Xana May's second channel. She's been on 10 different channels explaining why his only reason why it's Xana May's second channel is, and he was doxing her. She's been threatened by people over this, thinking that she's Xana May's
Well,
second channel or whatever. But
wait a minute.
6 times or more she tried to do it, and then they explained it. 5 different people explained why it would have popped up when he searched Xana May, and it popped up because she had
okay,
just
but
done the video,
listen.
and he can't
How
even
do you
realize that could be a
know?
possibility.
How do you know that she was threatened?
Well, I'm just saying she was, but even if she wasn't,
No. How do
she's
you know she
explaining.
was threatened? How
What
do
do you
you
mean?
know that?
She said that.
She said that.
Yeah,
She did.
everybody. Yeah, she came out. She was on the panel too.
So
She's
you
on the
don't
panel at some
know.
point.
You don't know if what she's saying is true or not.
Well, it
We've
makes
they,
sense when he's saying that that's Xana May's second channel, and that he will not back off that. And she's confronted him, I guess, on several panels, from what I understand, to his face, and he's just like, "No, you're lying. You're full of shit." And they're like, "Dude, you never done that before." Someone made a funny comment during the time, which this is nothing to laugh about, but they were like, "Someone please show him how to Google." I mean, this dude is like,
no.
he's misinterpreting so much stuff, man. You don't believe that? I mean, how do you
No.
not believe
Well,
all these listings? Oh, they're selling the car. Ronnie's selling his car 100 times. No, dude, it was a car for sale, and it was listed. The only thing that's there is a VIN number. There's no license plate. I mean, there's no license plate connected to the car. It's listed 100 times. Yeah, because online car salesmen get a cut when that car is sold, no matter what lot it's on. They put it up on their site. They get a commission for that. That's why it was listed 100 times. And then he finally bought. Ronnie explained this tonight. He finally bought the car like 3 months down the road. That's why it was kind of connected to him, because he ended up buying that car. So it looked like it was listed 100 times, but it was listed because it was trying to be sold. And he
well, I
misinterpreted
can
that
tell
information.
you. Okay,
I
so
mean, I can go on and on.
I can tell you this. So I took the document that Upchurch showed about the car and how often it was sold, and all that. I showed that to one of my friends who would know what, like he does like the whole car auction thing. And I showed that to him and I asked him what all that means, if that looked right. He looked at it and he said, that looks like a problem to me. And I said, what do you mean it looks like a problem? He said, I've never seen anything that looked like that. So even he, who is just, a guy that just being a Norton, has no interest in true crime at all.
Ryan's in chat right now freaking out. Everyone's freaking out.
Why is he freaking out?
Everyone's freaking. I don't know.
Y'all don't freak out. Oh my God, Jules. What?
Yeah, I'm just telling you what Ronnie said, and it sounds plausible.
Okay, so let me tell. Okay, so let me. We've talked about a lot of different things. I'm not freaking out. Hi, Ryan. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so
well, chat was freaking out.
I know.
Maybe not him.
Okay,
chat was.
So we talked about a lot of things. Let me point something out. How long have you been doing this YouTube thing?
I mean, talking to people. I've only been doing this a lot, like for this case, because I follow true crime. Who doesn't? I watch 48 Hours and all that crap. But like I said, I don't. This isn't end all be all, man. Like I'm not here to start a YouTube channel. I'm not here for clout. I'm not here to, my opinion's better than yours. I'm here just to be like, yo, if you're not saying something that's actual fact, a fact, then that's a problem. I mean, that's how I feel. I come on here. This is my news. This is my CNN because they're fake news or whatever, and
okay,
MSNBC. I don't believe anything they say. I come on here hoping I get just like some real information. I don't want to hear. I mean, if you want to talk about opinions and stuff, that's one thing. But
okay, now let me
find out some facts about something, not to hear someone's opinion.
Okay, this whole true crime thing that is going on. When there's a big case like this, another case that went crazy like this was a Chris Watts case. Okay. When there is a case that has a lot of mystery and there's a lot of empty holes where the information's not out there, either law enforcement is holding the information close to their chest or nobody knows, right? then this is when the true crime community gets really activated, and everybody has an opinion, just like you. I mean, if you don't look at anybody else, you don't look at Ryan, you don't look at Wildwood Flower, you don't look at Diane, you just look at yourself. Look how emotional you are. Look at how this experience has kind of taken on like a really personal flavor to you. Now, it's not personal. You're in Florida. All of this happening out in California. You don't know any of these people involved, but it's triggered in you this personal reaction because somehow you have a connection, some way, something about this is triggering some memory for you, something. Okay. So in the same way that you're really emotional, so are we. Elizabeth Gregory's getting, she's got an emotional connection to it. Ryan's got an emotional connection to it. When you spend this amount of time researching and learning, it begins to feel like it's personal. And your theory, as you develop it, it feels real. Like it feels like it's fact and it's truth. So people go through the same exact experience when they do like a dissertation. They spend so much time researching the literature and working that when you finally publish and it's all done and you're ready to walk away, you almost feel like you're losing, like you're getting divorced or you're losing a loved one. You're like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my time now? People had a terrible time trying to disconnect from the Chris Watts case. It just felt so real. We had another big case, Barry Morphew, his charges, he was going to court, and 4 days before the trial was supposed to start, they threw out the charges, and the community just was reeling. I mean, it was just crazy, and there was real grief. I mean, some people were crying and, really upset. So be careful. This is your first case, that you're experiencing, and you can see how you're listening to all these different people talking and their ideas, and you're feeling indignant, but you have to develop some tolerance. If you're going to do this, you're going to run across people that are going to say things that are 100% reflection of what you believe. And you're also going to run across people that are going to say something that you feel like is just 100% opposite and just fantastical and no way it could be possibly true. Now, you and I tonight, just in the short time that we've talked, I believe I'm fully invested at this point that there's foul play. I believe that in my heart. You believe it is an accident. But we didn't get all crazy and angry at each other. We just listened to each other's, differences.
I know, but that's something Ryan hasn't done yet.
Well, I would invite you.
In a lot of cases, I don't want to say every case, but a lot of cases he doesn't do that. If you would just, I'm open to other ideas. Like I said, man, I mean, it's great. And I feel like when she was missing, this was all whatever it took for people to try to think outside the box or whatever, trying to figure out where she was. Now that she's here, but now that they found her, I feel like it's like kind of, it doesn't matter what our theories are at this point. We'll find out when they finish the investigation. And I feel like a lot of people at this point are like, it's foul play. It's not an accident. So if the cops come back and say, they're going to come back and say an accident, they're covering it up. But if they came back and said, it's a homicide, we're looking into it, everyone's going to believe that. I mean, that kind of logic is not really wanting to find out the true reason.
I would invite you.
Your idea more.
I would invite you to go watch one of my videos where I covered the August 22nd press conference by law enforcement. There was an FBI agent there. I mean, all the people, all of the agencies were there. I 100% believe that there was some funny business going on with the cops. No, you can see it in the press conference happening. I'm not the only one that thought that. Kylie's father looks like he thinks it's a bunch of BS happening as well.
Well, didn't they walk out of the press conference too?
They did. They
Yeah.
certainly did. Yeah.
No, there was some
absolutely.
weird stuff with that. I mean, I feel the cops dropped the ball, man. They should have found that girl. The phone last pinged there. She was last reported at the party there, and she was intoxicated. How they wouldn't think to check that so more thoroughly is beyond me. I mean, I don't see how they could not have found their car. They should have had divers swimming in, along the
Yeah.
bottom, and for sure, man. I mean,
Yeah.
but that's no excuse to
And that brings us, you know what that does? That brings us to the newest conspiracy theory, which is that she's only been in the water a few days, that she wasn't in the water the whole 2 weeks, or it was nearly 3 weeks, I think. But that they had searched that lake, they had cleared it and moved on to a new lake. And then somehow the kidnappers were able to put her in the lake without anyone knowing. And until AWP got there. Now, do you see anybody jumping up and down, freaking out about that conspiracy theory? No, why not? Because you don't have a celebrity out talking about that conspiracy theory. If you had a celebrity talking about it, then people would be trying to get on that clout train. Oh, you're crazy for thinking that. And they would be wanting to get up on panel with that celebrity and try. All for what? Clicks and views. That's it.
I mean, like I feel the biggest red flag in everything, it not being an accident, is her being in the back. But if someone's gonna do this on purpose, why are they gonna have her in the back? And if your theory,
Wait a minute.
and a lot of
Wait.
people think you dump the body-
What do you mean? Why are they going to put her in the back?
Yeah, why are they gonna throw her in the back and then dump the car in the water? They would put her in the front seat, have her strapped in, make
I
it
have
look
an
like
idea.
an accident, right?
I have an idea. Maybe they put her in the back and they didn't know what to do. And so they were driving around all night trying to figure out what to do. And the tow truck driver talked to them and they didn't know what to do. And when they finally came up with a plan, she was in rigor mortis and they couldn't put her in the front seat.
So they dumped her in Saturday night, from, if you're believing the tow truck guy and everything. He talked to him on Saturday, or I mean, I'm kind of confused. Like,
yeah, I don't think
in the water for a couple of days. So
I don't
they
believe
hid her
that.
out somewhere.
I don't believe that she just went in the water.
But I'm saying, when do you think? How did she get up in the water?
I think
ended up in the water.
There. She's been there from the beginning, and for whatever reason,
Right.
I think that one of law enforcement's kid was at that party, and I think that law enforcement officer is trying to protect their kid, and they said, "Don't look here. There's nothing to see here. Go over there."
All right.
Doctora Latina, ¿cómo estás? Did you see? Wait a minute. Did you see latest that guy today found Kylie's laptop charger and left on the floor of the lake? Outrageous. I actually have that video pulled up. I have not yet watched it, but I'm with you. These cops, there's something bad going on there. I feel it in my heart. I do.
Yeah, it's like Keystone Cops for sure. I mean, that would make sense if they were trying to cover up, if they had some alternative motive, as their kids were involved or they were at the party or whatever. So, I mean, it does make sense. It's a possibility for sure. I just feel like a lot of people are basing their opinions and stuff off suspicions, like not really hard facts. I mean, now, yeah, we could say because she's found in the back of the car. So that's like you said, that's a fact. So now we could do that. But this is going on for weeks now. Before the body was found in the back of the car, everyone thought she was trafficked or whatever the heck the thing was.
Okay, now I'm going to warn you, if you're going to be a part of this whole true crime thing that's going on, you're going to find out that this reaction is not unusual, that this is actually what we do. We, meaning a lot of true crime channels. There's a case that is mysterious, and everybody kind of gets to know all the facts and what's going on. And then we all sit around and talk about it and discuss. And I am one who believes that if Ryan Upchurch was an oil field worker or a used car salesman, he would be given a seat at the table with no one attacking him personally. That he would be capable of giving his opinion, saying the things that he believed, and then people would accept what he said, and then the next guy would say what they think. If you don't believe me, go over to Zav Girl. She's got a great channel. She's a good friend. He goes on her channel all the time, and you don't see all of this anger and frustration. But when he goes up on a channel, up on a panel, and there's 10 people there, and he's there, and then 9 people are yelling at him, chastising him like he's a small child, you get irritated. Now, I wish he wouldn't act out like he does. I think it hurts his cause, but regardless, the people that are going after him, they're not innocent in this. They're getting just what they're wanting. They're wanting to use clickbait. Sure. They're wanting to use clickbait. They're wanting to goad him into a reaction, and then they're going to use that to get some clout and say, "Oh yeah, I'm the guy that went up against Upchurch. I'm the guy I'm a better guy than Upchurch because I'm protecting the family of the victim." No, you're not. Kylie's family are preppers. They are living off grid. There is no internet at their lodge. There is no cell phone signal at their lodge. The reason that AWP had to call Aunt Sally is because her family doesn't have cell phones and that sort of thing. So no, people are not fighting for the, family. People are not white knighting. That's virtue signaling. It's idiotic. It's selfish. The family's in grief. They've lost their child, and now they find out that it's possibly foul play. They're not on YouTube watching Ryan Upchurch talk about conspiracy stuff. They're not.
I agree. I don't think it's. I mean, I don't see why it would affect them. Honestly, that's what I said that earlier in the other panel. I was like, who cares what someone says on the internet about you? It really doesn't matter. When he trolled them, that's when, when Ronnie trolled him, that's when the crap really hit the fan with that. So if he wouldn't have done anything, I don't think it would have been no big deal, because like I said, the internet, this YouTube is so small in the grand scheme of things in the world that
of course,
if you let it bother you, it's going to bother you. If you don't, it's not. So that's what I said. I'm going to go to bed and I'm not going to be worried about this. I was just trying to get my opinion out there. And
let me tell you one more thing, because you're an interesting person to talk to. We have completely different ideas about this, and so it makes for a good conversation. I don't like Rando Ronnie. I'll just tell you straight up. I think Rando Ronnie may be one of those guys that returns to the scene of the crime. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that he grabbed her and ran through the woods, laughing. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that he was very intimate about Kylie long before all the facts were out. And when he was talking and Upchurch was on the panel, Upchurch put a lot of pressure on Rando Ronnie. And that was when he blurted out, "Oh, well, they saw her earlier in the day and she was drunk then. She was drunk earlier in the day." And, everybody said, "What? What are you talking about? Saw her earlier in the day." He then tried to cover it up and say, oh, well, like 8 or 9 o'clock, like earlier in the evening is what I meant. Well, Rando Ronnie, that still doesn't work because they didn't get there till after 10. Now, every time I brought this stuff up to you, you've said you've made like some kind of condition that would make it applicable. But the problem is that to continue to believe it's an accident, you're having to make a lot of allowances for things that have actually happened. The people that are feeling like this is criminal, the more information that comes out, it's very easy to believe. So Rando Ronnie, to me, is highly suspect. He impresses, to me, it feels like to me, one of those guys that was there, saw how it went down, and then returned to the scene of the crime. That's what that's what he reminds me of.
I'm just telling you by what he said just tonight that, and I asked him the question. I was like, and I think I said that already to you. I said, hey, look, the reason because Tiffany and Marie was in there giving him crap, and I was like, the reason everyone's mad is because they feel like you trolled the situation, and there is a little girl involved in this, and when you troll Ryan back, you kind of asked for this in a way, and he was like, that was the only way he felt he could like get him back, is what he said at that time, because
I don't believe
everyone
that.
was like on him. So
yeah, I don't think so, because I'm sitting here I'm thinking to myself, if somebody's
I
trying to
was saying
connect
that's why
you,
everyone was mad and suspect of him was
yeah,
because of that. And he admitted that he did troll, and that he wished he never called, is what he said tonight. He wished he had never called Mill at all at the end of the conversation. And I mean,
well, let me ask you this
you would think
question,
you would
Tackless.
believe that if he was involved, for sure, right?
Right. So let me ask you this. If someone was trolling you and connecting you to a dead girl, a child, a minor, would you think that was a really good idea to sort of play along?
Oh, hell no. That's why I told him. That's why I
No.
told him that. I'm like, that's why everyone is mad at you and don't like you and doesn't want to believe anything you say, because you did that. You trolled on that. Why would you do that? It makes no sense. It put him in the situation for no reason. Like, he could have kept out of it, just saying what his cousins told him, and he really didn't have anything but secondhand knowledge, and they would, the
But
cousins would have
again,
to do whatever. But he said it. Yeah, I feel like when they started arguing that night, he was just like, "What am I gonna say?" And he started laying on a bunch of crap, and like, and it triggered everybody. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, no, that," like you're picking it apart. Like, he
but
blurted
you
it
are
out.
believing Rando Ronnie.
No, I'm not believing him.
You are
I'm not.
believing you are believing the story he's telling you. And the story he's telling you is that he's some old married guy with a wife who would get mad at him. And he's got these, what do you say, 25, 26-year-old cousins that went to this party. Oh, yeah, they got drugs. I had drugs. Drugs were great, blah, blah, blah. And it's so cool because if you give drugs to the young girls, then the girls, hang out with you. And so that's pretty, cool. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what, Rando Ronnie? It sounds like you must be a real loser if the only way you can get a girl to hang out with you is by being the guy with the drugs. That makes you pretty bad, right? And he's
Yeah,
saying
no.
it like it makes him cool. He's saying it like, oh, I was so cool. I was such a player back in the day, and now my cousins are players. The whole story that the storyline that he gave Ickmel stunk to high heaven. I didn't believe what he said. I think he was totally at the party.
Man, I mean, it's possible. I mean, but like I said, I'm just going by what he said tonight, and he said that he went to the cops, and the cousins went to the cops. So I mean, granted, he probably embellished his story online or
Yeah.
in that interview. There's no doubt. Who wouldn't? I mean, he was already in so deep. I'm assuming when he was saying that.
Right.
And then with Ryan getting on and yelling, and they got in that whole argument about everything. And then I think that, he probably got mad and just started blurting out some stuff, and it may or may not be true. I mean, like I said, it's
Well,
just,
why?
you
Let
don't
me
think the
ask you
cops vented all that?
Yeah. So let me ask you this: why is it that you guys are really easily believing Rando Ronnie and Santa Mae, but you think that the tow truck driver is suspicious?
Well,
Why?
for
Why the
me,
difference?
well, no, for me, I believe that Xana May did this to start her YouTube channel, and she thought that, oh, I'm going to go out to the lake and put my canoe in and say, oh, look, I'm going to look around for something, or whatever she said, to
Well,
start a
let me.
YouTube channel. And
So let me
the
tell
ride
you
off
how
this,
lucky Let me tell you how lucky Xana May is, okay? Xana May managed to go to exactly the opposite side of the lake to where the party was, that when she paddled across the lake, she went right over Kylie's car. And then she went along the shoreline, finally ending up in the little stream, and she got out and walked up the hill to where the party was. To me, that's not a good thing. And she took that video down. Why? Why'd she take
I
the
never
video
watched
down?
the video. I mean, I like
Well,
I said,
we
I
can
didn't.
play it. I have
I didn't-
the video. Now let me say
Okay.
something, Packless, okay? So Dr. Latina is a psychiatrist. She's one of my good friends, and she's coming up on panel to talk. And Ryan Upchurch is going to come up on panel and talk, and nobody's going to be rude. We're just going to have a conversation, and we're all going to have like completely different opinions, but who cares? Okay?
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right. Doctora!
Oh, hello. What is the young man's name that's talking?
Packless Jones, and then also Ryan's here. Hey, Ryan.
Hello.
How are
Hi.
you?
Hi,
Good, how are you?
Ryan. Ryan,
Oh,
I have to
sweetie.
tell you, Ryan, before I get going, I need to tell you something funny. This morning,
Hello.
I got such a kick out of your whole Anthony and Cleopatra. And
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
laughed so hard. I put in the comment that must mean the singer from Puerto Rico, Mark Anthony, is the long lost child of Anthony and Cleopatra. You do have a funny way about you. I
Thank you.
want to briefly go back.
Hmm?
I'm sorry. What is the young man's name that's been talking again? I'm very bad with names.
Packless.
Pack is in pack with that less. Okay. Hi, Pack.
Like pack and unpack.
Yeah, gotcha. Packless. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give up I totally agree with anybody here because I don't. Can you hear me, guys?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you. I'm trying to get all the people
Oh.
to come up on the panel, but it won't do that. Let's
Okay.
see.
But what I want to say is I really want to say something, and that is I do not want to invoke Ika Demel myself because I actually know him personally. And I have met him. He is a friend of mine. He's a for real person. I think he was, but I will say, I think he was unwise, and I think he was naive to have allowed this Ronnie dude to co-opt and hijack the channel the way he did. That's all I'm going to say about Iked Mel, because I believe, as I've known him for quite a long time, and I know him personally, that he is an honorable person. Punto final. That's all I'm going to say about Iked Mel. However, separating Iked Mel from Ronnie, I don't know if I can be heard now. I don't know because this funny sounds have happened.
I can hear you.
Okay.
No, yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to say something.
Yes.
When people are only on the panel in audio only, their picture's not coming up. So that's the reason why Ryan is the only one showing.
I
because
see.
Everybody else has got their camera turned off.
Well, Ryan is gutsier than
I
I
got
am
you.
because my hair looks horrific tonight. So.
There you go. There you go, Ryan. Thank
There he
you.
goes.
I think that's a good solution. Thank you. Okay.
So
let's go
Ron,
ahead.
yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on. So I want to take a few minutes just to dive back into Ronnie. Okay, separate from Iked Mel, separate from Zanny Mae, blue, 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 blue. From the beginning, before Ryan ever put the pressure on Ronnie, and I think, by the way, P.S. Ryan, I thought you did a great job with the pressure that you did put on him because
Thank
I
you.
do believe that he came unwittingly. He came clean on
Absolutely.
on his truth.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I think the dude is a player in the game here. Somehow was at the party. I really truly do. But what I wanted to tell Packless is
Wait.
Oh.
So you believe that Rando Ronnie was at the party?
Yes, I do.
Me too, girl. Me too. Totally.
I do.
100%.
I mean, I know
quiet.
Ryan doesn't believe that any of this ever happened. I mean, this is so surreal. The whole thing.
Oh, yeah. He definitely spoke with his eyes.
Yes, I totally, and it's a perfect image. He did speak with his eyes. So here's the thing. What I wanted to say to Packless is that before Ryan ever came up on that live, ever, I'm talking hours of talking on the Icadmel channel. Ronnie was talking. Ronnie said some things about his cousins and Sierra College and how they found out about this and that they're in their late 20s and all of this stuff that absolutely doesn't jive, because Sierra College, PS was where Kylie was going to go to college, is a 2-year associate's degree program.
Bam.
So how could they be
Bam.
freaking, sorry?
There you go.
See? So how could his cousins be freaking 26, 7, 8, whatever they were? Because the people were giving them an excuse, a pass, giving Ronnie a pass by saying maybe the cousins are in medical school, or no, it's an associate 2-degree college. So his story from day one was not, it didn't jive. It didn't stick together. And there were so many holes in that story. And then when Ryan got up on Icadmel channel live, and then Ronnie was like, let me up. He, to me, let's pretend Ryan were going to dog me right now. My reaction, instead of doubling down and instead of then going to troll Ryan back, would be simply to disengage and just say, you know what, man, you have a different point of view. I'm not gonna engage you. But instead he came up and wanted to go toe to toe with Ryan.
Yeah.
And then he invited it. And then Ryan said, well, let me ask you some hard questions. And the questions were simply based on this Ronnie dude saying things like, well, he just offered up Ronnie without the pressure of Ryan to say, she was drinking earlier in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm giving that as the example that you used earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Icadmel that said, what do you mean earlier in the day? And then he doubled down and said, I mean, early in the evening. I mean, he just got himself in deeper and deeper and deeper.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. That was my same exact reaction. Yep.
I want to go on record to say, Ryan, I can't stand it when you name call. I just want to tell you, I hate name calling, but you're not the only one that does it on this YouTube community road.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
I won't do it here.
No, I know. And what I do like I like a lot about you, but what I will say is I really like that you respect the rules of the road of the different people's channels. If you want to drop an F-bomb on a channel that takes the F-bomb, you do it. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
So I really appreciate that you honor the different creators' guidelines.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
But the one thing I don't agree, and I'm not going to go deep with you on this one, where I don't go with you is that Kylie never existed. But you see, I'm not really sure if you said that in the sense.
Well,
do you mean that? Do you mean that because it's so surreal,
right? That
it's like what? It feels like the whole thing is made up. Is that what you mean?
No. I mean, it doesn't exist how it's being said to
portray.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I misunderstood you then. No, I agree with you. I think that the whole thing is a sham. All the story is a shim-sham, flim-flam the whole way through.
Yeah. And what really confused me along the way, one of the things was, and see, now listening to intellectuals talk about it, it was very odd that these individuals, I'm not going to say who unless you guys say it's okay, but these individuals were promoting these other social sites that were similar to her, almost like as a diversion.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if I know what that is, to be honest with
you. Ryan, you can speak freely.
I don't know, Ryan. Can you tell us?
Oh, yeah. If she says it's okay, I totally will.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
So I started finding these social media sites and stuff that were connected by looking up the Zanime character. And then I started finding other stuff because a random guy named Miro called me one night and he was like, if I was at a party and it didn't really make any sense what he was saying. He was like, if I was at a party and a fight broke out, I'm about to do something. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that's what the other people were talking about, boxing and stuff at the party. And I was like, okay, well, who is Miro and what does he want? Well, he wanted to simply take up for the Ronnie character. And I was like, how does he know Ronnie?
Well, then that's what I want to know, because Ronnie claims this is what, because I watched that whole thing go down on your channel. And then Ronnie claims that he spoofed you, so to speak, or I don't know what the expression is. But
Right.
the thing is, how could you hadn't even really presented to the world anything about Miro, and then you showed us you were spoofed, unless Ronnie and Miro are good friends to begin with.
Ronnie and Miro are in it together. What does Miro mean? There's
Look
that number one. Number two, Ronnie was on the panel after Ryan left this afternoon, retelling his story.
And it seems to follow me everywhere.
Yeah.
But what I've come to find out was, here's where it gets confusing. Here's where I was like, okay, something is bizarre. Now, either, if you ask me personally, there's either two things. See, and that's the thing, like people mistake it. The only reason I think that Ikmael was involved or is involved, which either one, was the fact that he was editing videos for the guy, which he's never done before. So I raised a brow.
Right.
And the other one was, I don't understand how the Ronnie guy, when we ended up finding him eventually, like through the internet,
his
name was Ikmael's name. So I was like, did he steal Ikmael's information? Did Ikmael give him their number? Did they hack Ikmael's phone? There was a couple different things that went through my head, and I was like, I don't know which one it is. So about this time, a random photo pops up of a yearbook picture that says Ronnie Jones, but it looks exactly like the Miro guy.
Yeah, I saw that. That's weird.
Yeah, which made me look at the Black Challenger post when he pans the camera, and I was like, yo, why does that guy got white legs? See, that was before I found this picture. And they were like, no, Ronnie does not have white legs. And I was like, that's a very bizarre
No, he
argument.
did. I know he really did. I think there was some. I think what I feel like is that maybe Miro and Ronnie were together in this little charade all along, and maybe
I agree.
The legs of Miro we saw, because honey, come on, they were white legs.
The only thing I'm willing to say is that when I saw the legs, they're 100% a white guy. Like, I have zero doubt. I don't know how they magically turned into African American when he got out of the car.
I think it was split. It was split. It was just, you know what I'm saying? Two people were there.
It had to have been, right?
Right.
That's what someone else said too. They were like, maybe was that two people?
That's what I think.
I don't know.
I think so. But I'll say one other thing is, and believe me, I am not defending. I don't know. I haven't heard from this Panelist guy has said nothing. I don't want him to feel that I'm disrespecting him. But I also do feel that I caught that whole thing on Tony's channel when Xana May, I mean, she was really disrespectful to Ryan. Now, I didn't like what Ryan called her name, but that's, neither here nor there because it depends on the channel. But she really was condescending, so condescending. I felt like my curly hair was going to become uncurled. I mean, it was that, like, I got so pissed because it was like, how can somebody be so condescending when she was saying, well, I know about the lighting and the this and the that. And so I do feel that the ante got upped, and it is concerning also to me that she was kayaking right over the freaking site where the car was.
In private chat, you guys, I put a link to a live stream that 2 nights ago Xana May was on, and she explains her whole story. It's in a private chat.
So
and I'm not defending her. I'm just saying here's another piece of information you'll need to take a look at. That's
okay. Okay, but why don't you tell us what she said? Like, in a nutshell, what's her story?
In a nutshell, she lives in the Bay Area. She is an avid outdoorsman. This was a trip she had planned. She got there. She realized there was somebody missing. She signed in with a search group. and she went out, dropped her kayak in the water, and she went right over the top of it. It was an absolute coincidence.
There's no coincidence.
I don't believe in coinky dinky.
Okay, I don't always, but if she were given a search area and she checked in, she were given a map, she were given a search area, the potential that she would go over it in a search area is very logical. Occam's razor needs to be applied on a lot of this line of thinking.
Yeah.
I love that everybody thinks deep, but there are some things we're thinking way too deep on when we need to be thinking deeper on other things.
No, and I did validate, like I went through the internet and she is, her credentials pan out. This is not some fly by night.
She even explains her credentials and answers audience questions in
Yes.
that live that I put in the link in private chat.
So no, they pan out. I think for me, what I find this is where the Occam's razor thing, where I think this is conspiracy theory now for me. I'm not saying necessarily that she was nefarious and knew something, but it did bother me a week or two earlier when somebody in the press conference asked the sheriff or whomever of Placer County or of Nevada County, I don't know which one, why are you allowing people to go kayaking and swimming and recreating? And I remember him saying, he got very defensive and he goes, everybody can go back in because there's nothing there. We've cleared it. And recreating is extremely important in our county or something. And I remember thinking, that's weird because why would you allow people to recreate when truly they hadn't really cleared the place? So the fact that they gave Xana May this, I almost feel like they allowed people to go back willy-nilly. This is very conspiratorial, that the authorities did that almost as a way to sort of cloud the picture.
Yeah.
I can't explain it to you. I don't know how to put my fingers on it. So I'm not necessarily saying she's nefarious, but they let that woman go. It's like right over it. So now, how interesting now that everybody's being deflected that she's nefarious. It's almost like she got set up. Do you understand?
Absolutely. And what happened? You got the tow truck driver shows up, and when he gets finished with his story, now AWP is diverted from Prosser
Exacto.
over to a different lake altogether.
You see, so I sort of feel sorry for, except for Ronnie, excuse me. I almost think Xana May was almost set up. I really almost feel that way.
So I have a timeline insert that you guys might want to hear.
Okay.
So do you remember the okay, so let's keep in mind Xana May in the lake, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you remember the day that they did the live and we seen the the white legs?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, that puts Miro, and then it's just in theory, this puts Miro where Xana May is 1 or 2 days ahead or behind, I can't remember. But here's the odd thing. We found an old Facebook page that has him as her relative.
Ronnie?
Right, yeah.
No,
Miro
Ronnie
guy.
or Miro?
See, that's the thing. I'm not sure if his name's Miro or Ronnie. I just know it's the white guy.
Miro.
Okay,
Yeah.
Miro.
Yeah.
Weird.
Miro is, I think he is Eastern European. I don't know if he's Ukrainian like she is, but I did think that was an interesting.
I think it's a Czechoslovakian name.
Czech? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what all these connections are, and I hate to kind of get too conspiratorial. I just think this entire case is suspect. I really do. From soup to nuts. I think it's outrageous. That's all.
It should be very simple for what it is.
That's right. But it's not.
No, it's not. So I think that when her car was found in the very back, when her body was found in the very back of the car, I think that really increased the likelihood that there was criminal activity. And I think AWP is pretty convinced that something is bad. I did the live where I went through the August 22nd press conference, and there was some really bizarre behavior from the law enforcement. Yeah, bad. It was big. Yeah.
Yes,
There was
with
a
the
lot.
FBI and all their eyes going right and left, and it was weird.
Oh, it was so.
Deputy Tomato.
Oh, you're talking about Captain Sam Brown.
He kept flushing. You could tell he doesn't have a good poker face at all.
Yeah,
I was looking at the guy in the back, the black suit guy.
Oh yeah, the FBI.
Between the two tan suits.
He looked scared.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he looked scared. Yeah. What'd you think about the FBI agent?
FBI agent.
He was the guy that was in the suit, the Navy.
He was the suit.
Blazer. Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick and look on my phone.
Yeah, far on the left. Like if you're looking at the picture, he would have been all the way to the left.
Okay, Jules, what about the whole change in what she was wearing? And then suddenly the PIO officer, like, look at the guys' faces behind when the PIO officer says there was video of Kylie at the party in a different sweatshirt. And then bam, Angela's gone. And there's a whole different PIO now in place.
Yes. And that was actually, for me, that was the first moment that I really felt confident coming out and saying the official story that's being put out is inaccurate. Sammy is a liar. I mean, I said it clear. And that was that, it actually, a lot of people don't know this, but that hashtag Finding Kylie website, that was actually put together by who? Sammy. Sammy did it. So with the whole, I don't want to disappear. I don't want to be forgotten. I just want to disappear. When they came out and said they have her in a pink and white Odd Future sweatshirt at the party, that was the first indication, like real type of evidence that Sammy was not telling the truth. That she was misleading the police
by saying that she had been loaned the other sweatshirt.
That she was in the black sweatshirt. Yeah.
Okay, now guys,
even Kylie's mom said, it's a beautiful, that Lana Del Rey is a beautiful artist with beautiful lyrics, and don't be misled by a red herring. She said those exact words.
So my other thought was, what if? Okay, so Mags obviously wasn't a trustworthy child, because Kylie's original plan was that she was going to Hot August Nights with her mother. Mags called, said, can you go to this party with me? Because my mom said, I can't go unless you go. All right. So that shows that Mags is an untrustworthy child. That lines up with Mags going to the party, staying for 10 minutes and leaving.
But don't you think that's the whole reason that she did that? Because she really was wanting to go hang out with her boyfriend.
Yes.
And she was tricking her mom.
Yep. And Mags dumped Kylie onto Sammy. Stay at this party. This will be fine. Stay with this girl. Now with the sweatshirt, don't you think that after Sammy left her, Sammy could, the girl that she could have been, the person who loaned her the sweatshirt said, hey, can I have my sweatshirt back? I just got that. I'll give you this one instead. Or maybe Kylie had another sweatshirt.
Well, no, I don't think so.
She had that sweatshirt in previous pictures.
You don't think so? Yes. Kylie had worn that pink and white sweatshirt.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was about to say, like, at bonfires, I'm not sure where y'all live, but we live in Tennessee. So I live in Tennessee. So, like, if a guy that, is a big-hearted guy, is leaving and going somewhere, and a girl's like, hey, it's going to get cold later at this party. Can I borrow your hoodie?
Yes.
He's going to say, yeah.
Right.
Yep. That was what I had thought. That might account for the change in the sweatshirt, given that the two people that were supposed to be with her would have seen what she was in, didn't see her again.
Right. And it could have been Mag's boyfriend. She could have been like, hey, give her your hoodie. And he's like, all right.
Because mom said she wasn't originally going. She was going to go to Hot August Nights. It was a last minute change of plans.
Yeah, but she owned the white and pink Odd Future sweatshirt.
Oh, okay.
That
Yes,
was
she
her.
did.
She also had her car there. So what's the odds that it was in her car? Girls
What do you mean?
also can be smart, thinking, "Hey, I'm going to go to a party. It's in the hills. It's in the mountains. I better grab a sweatshirt because it's going to get cold later."
Yes.
Girls are smart enough to do that.
Especially by the water where it gets colder.
This girl grew up there. This is very similar to my area where I live.
So why do you
always
think?
go in.
How does that indicate whether she was wearing the black sweatshirt or not?
Oh, yeah,
Again,
true.
she could have had it. She could have started the night in the black, and the person that loaned her the sweatshirt said, "Hey, I want my sweatshirt back." So she had to go back to her car and get another one. That's
Okay, so I see.
I see it.
Yeah, her mom said not to follow the red herrings.
And so I see it a little differently, and I saw that black sweatshirt as a red herring myself.
Okay.
And the reason I saw it that way is because
the YouTube video.
Because Sammy in that Tony, the Tony dude that interviewed Sammy, which I, by the way, have a feeling, I felt like all of his questions, he was pretending to be really goofy. I think
Mr. Vanilla Ice Cream.
Oh, I think he was on to Sammy. I really do. And if you look back at his questions, he's like, and Romans 1:12 or whatever has this question. I mean, his questions were
no, Latina, not Dr. Latina, absolutely not. He's just like that. I went back to a lot of his stuff. He is just like that. Ryan had him pegged when he's a vanilla ice cream cone with khakis, socks, and sandals. Ryan,
you know how I knew that? My uncle's just like him.
But then how did he get, what I want to know is, okay, well, first of all, Sammy, what I was going to say is at some point in that interview, Mr. Goofball, which I guess maybe he really is that way, who asked but he asked almost like he was interrogating her. But
oh, yeah. He knows the money cheat to the first Sims game.
Exactly.
For sure.
That was all about making dollars.
Yeah.
That was all any of that was.
But how did he get her on there?
That's a good question. How did he get her on there?
Somebody got into her inbox.
Oh, Ronnie, bro.
She was there from the beginning.
The Ronnie guy. If you look at the characters, how they're spread out throughout bigger YouTube channels like mine and Ikmel's. That's pretty weird.
See, there you go, Ryan. Now you're thinking.
But wait, I don't get it. I'm a little slow. Tell me what you guys just said.
Oh, okay. So like the content creators, who have nothing to do with it, which now I'm starting to think that honestly maybe Ikmel was possibly tricked or
that's what I think. I really do.
He was.
I think he was tricked
by Ronnie. Yes,
right.
Yes.
And he didn't realize what he was doing until he was like, "Oh shit!"
Yes, but how about this Tony dude?
You're talking about.
That's what I was
you're
getting
talking
at.
about Dream Chaser?
Yes, I'm sorry, Tony Dream Chaser. How did he get he's a tiny, minuscule channel. How did he get Sammy that interview?
He got Sammy and he had Zanime.
Exacto. How did that happen?
Hey, look at the teeny ass channel that Zanime ended up on. What they've done is those girls are following people that are supporting them. And there's a lot of people that are hashtagging. You got to remember, those girls are on Twitter. A lot of these people are using Twitter and getting into their DMs through Twitter. Not all of us creators are on. They're on multiple creators are on multiple social media platforms to get in contact with them. Zanime came into a chat, a live 3 nights ago on a channel with 1,000 people that hasn't been up for very long.
Very interesting.
See, what is it? What do y'all think why is the reasoning for the pattern of small channels that are just now created within this
That's what
space?
I want to know.
Because we all are waiting for our breaking thing, because we've watched other creators. We watched the recliner lady get 40,000 subs off the Petito watch party. We watched Justice for All blow up on the summer with the Jose interview with Summer Wells. Yeah. All this is you're waiting to ride the next big wave to bring your channel in, but that's not always ethical.
No, it's not.
I've been saying that the whole time.
Why don't
okay, y'all,
It's
That's
all about
Exactly.
clout. They're
Packless.
all chasing. These people are putting out false stories on this
And
story
that's it.
just to sensationalize it. I mean, you can
Okay,
look
but
at
hold on.
AWP sensationalizing it when they did the whole interview with the tow truck driver. You can't tell me they didn't sensationalize that.
I
That's the
don't
whole
think
thing.
I don't think
don't
that it was
believe
for
that.
sensation.
I don't believe that.
I think that was
Well, you
the
just said all these other
drive.
channels are trying to come up. That's it,
A-
man.
Here's how
Xana May was trying to start a
AWP.
channel. These other people are trying to start channels, trying to get their channel to grow. They were thinking, oh my God, just like when Ryan hits every live stream, if you're
But why would you
talking and you agree
sabotage
with
it?
them, their channel will get subscribers and likes and views. I mean,
But I
it's
don't
just
believe
how it works,
AWP would
man.
do that. I've worked
So
Well, I'm
with
not
A-
saying
AWP.
he's doing it, but these people are inviting him on there or getting him on there by any means necessary, if it's a false story or not, and then that they're just using it. Like, I mean, isn't that what this whole thing was about when you
I
started
do
this
get that.
thing?
I totally get that strategy. But being on here, if you look at what they're doing, they're almost sabotaging themselves. Why wouldn't you want to have a logical conversation with people like this that you can talk to about
Sweetheart,
cases over the years?
it doesn't bring it. You got to remember, a lot of
Cha-ching, cha-ching,
yep,
no
it doesn't
cha-ching.
bring the money. You
Yeah,
want
because
you got to
90%
pimp
of
out the
these
tragedy,
people are thinking, yeah, foul play. That's what sells, man. These
right?
people are giving
Ryan, if
money,
you told everybody
donations,
this were an
super chats
accident,
wait,
nobody
hold
had
on.
because they
anything
agree.
involved.
Hold
If
on,
you
voices. I want to let Packless talk to Ryan,
Mhm.
because this was a conversation that he started from way back
Yeah.
earlier. So
Mhm.
let's let him let's
Okay.
hear what Packless says, just because it is different than what a lot of
I
us think.
Okay.
I appreciate that. I want to say to Dr. Latina or whatever, I think that you misunderstood. I don't believe Ronnie, and that's not why I believe this is an accident because of what they say or Xana May
Oh,
or Nick
okay.
Miller, anyone says or Ryan says. It has no bearing on my thoughts on this whole story. But what I will say is that it's so obvious. That's why, man, when I first heard this and Ryan was like, "Wait, something doesn't sound right. What's going on?" And then it kind of blew up, and then it was like other people were like, "Oh man, dude, Ikmil, got some subscribers from this and this," and he was probably thinking, "Hey, this is a great thing." And then maybe it did get a little out of hand, and then once it did, now people just love them coming in because they're getting their views up. Not saying that they don't believe them or whatever the case may be, but it's about the views. And these people, there's so many channels that have popped up for true crime for this case. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. Like
I
all
didn't
these
even know
people are
that.
coming up and they're all doing lives. It's all about lives because they're getting all these super chats. Every 5 seconds they're like, "Don't forget my PayPal's this," and they're dropping the link.
That is true.
I mean, it's so crazy. And I mean, that's kind of where I got at. I was like, man, dude, and you could a lot of people get mad at me and they say I'm trolling, but I'm like, dude, you could just look at it and all down the line, all these false stories, all these theories that people are saying, the reason why they're doing it is because they don't know. They're trying to sensationalize it more, and they're not going to get any repercussions from it. Just like the tow truck driver, all he may have a video and audio, but he's like, it looked like her. What do you want me to do? Is a silver
Well,
SUV.
okay, so
He has that to back him up, where he's not going to get in trouble. All these people, if you're saying something about a false story, it doesn't matter what you say. I even thought Ryan had said that before when he, was in the conspiracy thing. He's like, it's not true, so it doesn't matter, if I say anything about it. If it's a lie or if it's not real, then what you can't get in trouble for it. And all you're doing is stating you say it's my opinion, especially on YouTube and all these lives, no one's held accountable for nothing.
Oh no,
And
I
if
can get
you
in
have
trouble for what I said.
90% of the people that agree with you, that's why everyone hates me on here and they think I'm trolling, but I'm not. I'm just trying to give a different perspective. And they're like, but the 90% of people, they're sending super chat. I'll get it. I'll pay to get him off there. I'm tired of hearing his voice, and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, these people are feeding into it. And it's kind of strange to me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all
See
about the
the
money. And if you look at anything ever, it's about the money.
Mhm.
I
Now,
mean,
but check this
if you
out.
look at it.
Care if I make like a tiny comment?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm
So
done.
check it. Look how different mine and your conversation is here versus there. Over there, it was controlled chaos
Yeah.
by
It was a shit show.
gaslighting, which made, honestly, I mean, I'll admit to it, it made me yell at you, which was stupid. But
I didn't even
when,
hear this thing. So
when you're interrogating someone, look at how it was over there, dude. It was madness.
Yeah.
Go try to even listen to it. It's hard to listen to.
That's
No,
right.
it was. I ended up leaving when
Where
Clara
was
came
this? I'm
on
sorry,
there.
guys.
It became a
I'm so
total shit show. And after all that, I ended up leaving for like an hour or so, and I did come back later on, and just to see what happened after, hoping it calmed down. But yeah, it got out of hand, and I agree. I mean, sitting on the panel when everyone else is bombarding you with stuff, and it is a little bit overwhelming. And I mean, I wasn't mad that that you were yelling at me and stuff and getting mad. It's just it was hard to even decipher what the hell was going on with all the people talking and everyone like talking over themselves and stuff like that. But no, I can have a normal conversation. I'm open to every idea. I just feel like it's really, I mean, if you close your mind to it can't be in an accident at all, then you're not your mind is closed. Then you're not
See,
open to
I
But what
thought,
about the
finding the
exact
full truth.
opposite? What
Well,
about
it
the
could be
exact
either way.
opposite?
A lot of people are saying they're gonna cover it up. It's gonna be an accident. Well, if they come out and say it's a homicide, you're gonna believe them 100%. Why wouldn't you believe them if they come out after all this time investigating and everything that they do, like they would if they come out and say it's a homicide? Then you would believe it was that. I mean, it makes. I mean, doesn't that make
well,
kind of
see, at
sense?
first I thought it was, at first, when I first seen all this, I was like, dang, I was like, she must have drove off one of these bluffs and freaking ran in the water.
Right.
Until like a few more things came out, and I was like, wait a minute. And then
Yep.
that's when I started making videos, because I was like, wait a minute, this ain't no accident. So I've thought both, actually. I thought accident first, and then I thought foul play second.
But don't you think that when, like, with Ronnie came on there and he was telling his story, I mean, obviously a lot of you think he was there and whatever, but he was telling a story. I thought he embellished a lot of stuff, and he was just talking and like he was talking
But
about the
you are
past and what he
making
did and stuff.
allowances. You can't keep doing that,
But I'm
Packless.
just saying,
You're
but I'm
making
just using that as
allowance.
one example. I'm sorry, I
He's
hate to
seen
use
too
that.
much, though,
I'm using it as
bro.
one example is what I'm using it as.
But
But
at
like,
some point, we have to accept that what we're seeing is what we're seeing. We
Mhm.
can't keep kind of explaining away the shady stuff. At that point, then you're making a stretch to say, oh, it was an accident. We
but
just have
he's
to
already
deal with what's there.
but he's already came out. I mean, like I said, I don't know him from Adam. I don't know anybody from Adam, but he came out, and when he after Ryan had left that panel, he actually came on there and he was talking, and I mean, like he was discussing everything. I don't understand like how we we cannot not believe him now. I mean,
well,
he admitted to trolling. He admitted to all this stuff that he
It's a
did,
little
and he
more than
wished that it never
trolling.
it
happened.
is more. Yes, may I say something? Would I be allowed to?
Of course, absolutely.
You see, Packless, I think it's more than just the trolling piece. And we have this expression in psychology and psychiatry, and I think they also have it in law enforcement, where we talk about when people speak, sometimes even if they have, let's say they have a completely formulated narrative, that there are leakage. I call it leakage. There's another expression somewhere
Mhm.
where they might misspeak by an accident, and they say a little something, and then they have to back off and sort of formulate and get back on their narrative. And so what I was listening to with Ronnie from before I ever even before Ryan ever came in the picture with Ronnie, I heard what I call leakage. And then when from Ronnie, and I listened very closely when he was talking to Ryan. Then he was using different pronouns. Like he by an act, I could see. He said, "Well, when we went," and then because when they went, I mean, he
He
to
turned
me,
himself into the person that was there
yes,
versus the person that
That's
knew
right.
about people that were there.
there you go. I'm
Well,
not
do you
explaining
think he
myself here.
drew back from memories? Because he said he was there before. That he had
No,
been to parties out there. He drew back from a
no.
previous memory,
I'll
or
tell
he was
you.
No, I was
reliving
I
his.
think
talking in
that's
present tense.
that's a
Yeah.
valid question.
Yeah, he was
However,
reliving his past.
no,
You know.
I don't mean to cut you off, but no, in the
Okay.
sense that because I listened to this thing, I went back like 10 times. Believe me, he did. You are right, Hackless. He did talk about a time when he used to, when once upon a time he would party at this locale, but then he went into that night, and he even said that there were 5 or 6 people. I don't recall exactly in the car that they went to, and he
That's
said,
right. Yes.
5.
and
Yeah.
You're right.
did you say 5?
Yes, ma'am.
So he said
Right.
5 in a type of car that doesn't hold 5 people, by the way. And then he said when we were the 5 of us, and he was specifically talking about that night of Kylie party.
That's
So
right.
right in that, to me, and then he kind of, you can sort of almost hear him. Obviously I didn't hear him say and then he sort of switched back and said they.
Mhm.
So yes, I understand what you're saying. I understand that he was embellishing perhaps things, but there's no reason when you have somebody, Ryan in this case, was putting pressure on him and really saying, come on, tell us something about what happened here. There's no reason to suddenly blurb out that you were in the car, that you were amongst the 5 people when we went. You get what I'm saying?
If you know about psychology and stuff, wouldn't you think that was like some testosterone? Like, oh, this guy's up
No.
here bucking on me. I gotta buck up. You
Oh,
know?
no.
No, because you're naturally gonna talk. See, that's the thing. If that's the case, and if you do see, I don't know a lot about psychology. I know a little bit. I don't know a lot. I don't know as much as this lady on here, but I do know that under pressure and stress, you start to forget what your costume is. If
That's
Exactly.
right.
if that's what you
There
will.
Perfect.
Very well described.
That's exactly it. The costume,
Amen.
the mask. The mask
Yes.
comes off. Who did that?
That was me. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. Or is that the end of the round, or was that bingo?
No, that's
Does
what
that
we
mean
do
we'll
on
get
my
coffee?
channel when people are right.
Now, I just want to say one more thing, and then I think I might just listen for a while, which is probably unimaginable here. But one thing I wanted to go back to, this is going many months back to Summer Wells when Ryan first came on. I knew that you are, as we say in Spanish, famosísimo, that you're very famous.
Mhm.
But I saw your participation, and I've seen your participation. This is the way I've looked at it. I'm not saying I'm right. In these cases, not because of your status as famosísimo. I've seen it because you are looking for an affiliation with people, like, connection that has nothing to do with your singing. That this is almost like a pastime for you. And I
Correct.
feel like in some ways you've been crucified
Yes.
because you are famosísimo,
Mhm.
when really I was tickled that you were joining the community because I saw it as an older person, seeing you as a younger person looking for affiliation. And I thought, it's wonderful that you're looking for affiliation and you're not trying to, this has nothing to do with your career. That's the way I looked
Correct.
at it. Am I
Oh,
wrong?
you're
Am
absolutely
I
right.
I don't know.
Oh no, you're right. And the reason that I even wanted to start getting into this is because one of my really good friends is the sheriff of my town. He just retired, and we would sit on my porch and stuff, and he would tell me a lot of stuff, and he would give me tests. He would be like, "Hey, if I found a body with clothes on inside of a house and it was stabbed in the chest 3 times, what should the crime scene look like?" And he would test me on stuff like that, and he would tell me when I was wrong and whatnot. And then he was telling me how technology is getting ahead of its time for people in the field that came in when he did. So if you look at the rate of technology, the next group of people that are going to be able to catch some of these criminals, believe it or not, are the YouTubers, because cops are not in the YouTube world. You're going to have
Yeah.
to find the other YouTubers
Yes.
that get down to this kind of stuff, that don't care that I'm a famous person, that don't care about
Exactly.
anything like that, to be able to figure this stuff out, because this is a territory that's unknown to them.
That is right. No, and it's what we call crowdsourcing information, and the law enforcement just simply doesn't have the manpower or the money to do this kind of crowdsourcing.
Mental power.
Guys,
Mental.
I just took 3 cold cases in my area, and by my social media, using the power of social media, myself and one of my mods have taken 2 of the cases out of cold status. They have active
Wow.
on them.
Oh, congratulations.
I just hosted an event that was called Light the Path, where I brought awareness to the 3 missing in my little teeny tiny Wyoming town. 3
Wow.
people.
That is very cool, Voices.
That is cool.
This is what it's about. And you're
Right.
exactly right, Ryan. Law enforcement had the same information. Law enforcement had a file on Danielle, had a file on my missing person, and it was 4 pages. We were given the same information. It's now a 300-page case file.
Oh my gosh. Dude, badass.
And it's all because of it's exactly because of what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's cool.
Technology
so
advancement.
Cool. It is true, though. And you know what's scary, though? You know what really got me into this case and honestly got me thinking the way I am? It's because I was looking at other things. Now, at this point, I don't believe everything I've said in the beginning. I will say that
That's okay. You can undo it.
But it led me to find other things, though.
Sure. Yeah.
And so at this point, I believe personally about 75% of what I've said, 25% I've found to be faulty. But the reason why is because, so if you look at how people used to catfish people on Facebook and MySpace, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And you take it and evolutionize it to YouTube, which is new. Like, I mean, I've never seen people trying to lead people in other directions with duplicate profiles. And I was like, whoa, this is kind of like catfishing back in the day, but it's on YouTube. And then I looked at TikTok and I see all this stuff with these politicians and stuff. You know, I'm not really into politics at all. I'm just, I'm of the Earth Party. So I'm a hippie. I'm a hippie in real life. So when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, this kid on TikTok is 19 years old and looks nothing like Elvis, but he is masking himself and looking and walking and talking exactly like Elvis. If people can hack phones and ping you wherever they want to ping you at and put you somewhere, and also put a video of you that is a perfect doppelganger, how can you prove that you weren't there, even if you weren't there?
Yeah.
That's scary.
I think it is really scary. And I want to go back and say one other thing on the Johnny Depp trial, which is relevant to what you're saying, Ryan, about technology and law enforcement and the courts and stuff. I remember that at some point very early in that court hearing, the friend of Amber Heard, her name is Eve, I can't think of her last name, but she had actually taken something that the witness who was on the stand had written a year previously on the witness's Twitter account. And she took that and she was able, I don't even know how, man, she was able to doctor it up and put it back on, tell me if I'm wrong here, folks, if they remember, the internet. And then she presented it to the lawyer of Amber Heard, who presented it to the judge, right? And said,
yeah, it wasn't even that sophisticated, Dr. Oda. So you're talking about Eve Barlow, who is now currently Amber Heard's
special friend,
lover. Some people say they've been married. Living in Israel. So all they did is they took a comment that had like a screenshot of a comment that had been made and gave it to the attorney. The attorney showed it to the judge and said, "Oh, look, she's reading about the case, and she is a witness here." And so then the judge turns to her and says, have you been watching information coverage about the trial? And she admits to seeing something. I don't remember what it was. And so, they had to dismiss her.
But they took a quote from a year earlier from a different, right?
That's it. They took a quote that was made about the trial that was in England with the Sun.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't, And so when it came out, when Ben Chew then approached the judge and said, this was not a current comment. This was a comment from 18 months ago. And besides, why is Eve Barlow using her cell phone? It's the only people that are allowed to have electronic access in the courtroom were supposed to be the attorneys and their support staff. And so Eve Barlow then got kicked out of the rest of the trial, wasn't allowed in the courtroom.
But do you remember what the judge said in that instant? And it took till the next day. I don't remember. Oh, I'll tell you what she said. I got a little giggle because I'm 61 and I'm like not particularly techno savvy, but I think I'm more than she is. She was like she kind of scratched her head. She said, I don't even know what Twitter is. What are you talking? I don't even know what you're talking. And she says, I'm going to have to look at this at the end of the day, and I'll let you know because I don't know what Twitter is. I'm paraphrasing, but it was clear to me, and this goes back to what Ryan is saying about his law enforcement friend who's recently retired, that folks in my age group that are, 50s, 60s, they could be a judge or whatever, generally don't have that savvy technologically. And this poor judge was like, she was this stuff was over her head. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can see how law enforcement and the courts and judges, they're going to have to swiftly come up to speed, or they're going to have to get somebody like Ryan's age or my kid's age to kind of bring them up to speed, because the world is working so fast on technology.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Jules, do you know who's going to be marked safe from ever being convicted of a murder or any of that? All these true crime YouTubers. No, all these true crime YouTubers that are constantly live streaming about these true crimes.
Mm-hmm.
They can't go in. They're hooked to their computer. They're not going to go out and get them.
I just recently went through. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ryan.
So I just recently went through a lawsuit. You can look this up. In Nashville, Tennessee, with a Canadian entertainer. So,
I heard about this little one. You mentioned it. Yeah.
So I have the transcripts that I'm gonna scan and show y'all. So when we went to court, for whatever reason, this individual doctored all the text messages.
Right.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what the heck? So all I did was I went and got every single text message.
Thank God.
So she presented ones that were doctored and taken out and deleted. And I presented mine that was every single text message to exist from us meeting until the court date. And the judge was not happy with her.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was bad. Dude, she tried to say, I'm pretty sure, I can't say 100% on YouTube, but let's just say I may have been investigated by the TBI because she said that I had killed and buried people in my house. She said that in court. And I was like, what the heck? I didn't know what to say. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So she ends up losing. And now she owes me a lot of money. But guess what? I'm not going to see it because she was a foreigner from another country.
Yeah.
So they come here, they try to get money, and they leave and go back to the country if it fails. And it's like, dude, is that all it takes to like get some money out of us Americans? Like, dang.
Yeah.
Yes, but it does show how you could have been duped based on this woman's manipulation of technology.
Well, I think I'm one of the minority that I am firmly convinced that Amber Heard and her friends absolutely plotted against Johnny Depp to get her hands on his fortune.
Why would you be in the minority? I think you're in the majority.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say I was being too conspiratorial to.
Oh,
you know,
no.
No way.
Money's
Definitely. Yeah.
That's the oldest game in the book. You get all your girlfriends to gang up. Everybody agrees to it, and we're gonna take the money and we're gonna split it. And everybody goes their own way.
Mm-hmm. You know when it's going to be
Crazy.
conspiracy? It'll be a conspiracy when a guy does it and somebody will just believe him, and that will be the bad part, because guys don't. It's most of the time it's never really a male doing it. Watch males start doing it, and watch the first couple males will get away with it until another male steps up and is like, "Hey, that
Yeah.
dude's fine. Y'all gotta stop covering for him just because he's a dude."
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm going to hop off, but this has been, I mean, thank you so much for inviting me up. I don't know if I offered anything, but I've really enjoyed the conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming up.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna
Yes, ma'am. Good night.
jump-
Have a good night.
Yeah, I'm going to jump
Night,
back
Amy.
into chat. Night, night.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So my original. Do we lose? No, we didn't. So my original live was really about how clickbaity this whole thing has gotten with Kylie Rodney.
Mm-hmm.
And that this one live that you were on, and Packless Jones and Perplexed, the Glarer, and I was showing that while there's people that are trying to, you know, in the title of that video that's showing up on the screen now, it had Kylie Rodney, Ryan Upchurch. So that is triple right there to draw people in, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it's become kind of like a thing now among a lot of these creators to sort of challenge you, I think, to challenge you to try to create this discord and try to create these arguments, and that people are flocking in to try to watch. And so I was taking the position that it really, as Glarer is white knighting, and I don't know who this other lady was with the hat, that as they're going after you and saying pay WAP and white knighting for Kylie's mom, saying that you were interfering with her healing, I was saying, you know, you're doing exactly what you're accusing Ryan Upchurch of doing, which they've started this dumb thing where they're saying that you're creating chaos, that you're having all these conspiracy theories because you think that's going to help you sell records. And I'm laughing and I'm going, you don't really quite understand what 5 platinum records really means. If you think that his interest in a case like this is going to increase. No, he's just having a conversation.
Right. If anything, it would probably hurt my following, if anything.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, you have no idea how bad it would hurt your following.
Oh yeah.
In what way, Voices?
Okay, listen, Jules, you know the bullshit that happened when I come out onto the YouTube streets with the Monster Face Life Coach and the
I saw it. It was absurd.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. You do realize that resulted in over 1,700 calls to my local city county dispatch.
Wow.
1,700?
I landed my ass having to get an attorney and go in front of a judge and explain that this all happened because I stood up for the Wells and said, in the eyes of the law in Tennessee, the Wells can be considered a victim. That was
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's all I wanted, because there were 3 people on that panel. Molly had just said that I was going to be affiliated with the nonprofit. I'm sorry, I happen to do this in real life. I do these things. I knew the ramifications of having 3 people associated with a nonprofit on panel and accusing the Wells of murdering their child.
Wow.
I needed to put the disclaimer out. So all of that happened as and so that resulted in the cards that resulted in my phone number being put out, my address being put out, and over 1,700. Do you realize I live in a town of 1,749 people?
Golly.
So all but 50 people, the equivalent of all but 50 people in my town, over a bunch of bullshit on YouTube that had nothing to do with anything, and ended up being a way for a girl to get a channel. Dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so
hanging around over here where it's gonna be able to be changed. I saw what they were trying to do to Ryan today on that panel, and it happened when that guy called Ryan a classist, an elitist. That
was funny.
That was all about.
What's a classist?
That's funny. Yeah, they were just trying to say that because you're a celebrity, you're wealthy, that you think you're better than everybody else on the panel.
Because your response when these people were trying to get you to understand that your words carry meaning and power behind it, and your response was, so sue me. Well, most of us over here are poor and we don't have a window to piss in or a pot to throw it out. So there's no way they could ever sue you. Something over here, and I'm sorry, is as good as it does more than taking somebody to court.
But you gotta understand this game on YouTube.
It's bullshit.
These people. So I'm a licensed professional, and as soon as one particular channel, as soon as this channel got their orders from their fearless leader, the phone began ringing off the wall at my licensing board. And the attorney for the state of Texas for my profession actually called and said, what is going on? And I said, well, okay. So I told him I had the channel. I said, it's not related to my profession. They even contacted the state of Texas to check if I was paying my taxes.
Oh my gosh.
These people, so there are people on YouTube for no other reason than you have a different opinion than they do, then they believe that, you should be punished in every sense of the word. I mean, if they had a stick, they would spank you with it, right? So
if they had the ability to come to your house, they would.
Well, now I have had them at my house. Like I've had them drive past, take photographs.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
But we've got gated and camera system, so I'm not afraid. And I've made it clear I enjoy firearms. So they can come to my house if they want, but it's going to be a problem for them.
Castle doctrine's a great thing, isn't it?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, Ryan, you've been on Zav Girl. Zav Girl's a good friend of mine. She's a sweetheart.
She is such a sweetheart.
She is.
I wanted to beat people up for her the other day for yelling at her.
That got crazy really quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
It got crazy. So like I said, Glare is clout chasing. He's just trying to do it in a backward way. It's a whole virtue signaling bullshit. And make no mistake about it. When they follow you around to panel, then they come up and they go after you as if, oh, I'm looking out for the victim's family. No, you're not. The victim's family is in grief. They're in mourning. They're not on YouTube. They're preppers, for God's sake. Mm-hmm. They don't even have internet at their house. They don't have cell phones. That's why AWP had to call Aunt Sally.
Hold on. How they had to have cell phones, because how did Kylie text her mom to ask that she could stay late at the party? So that can't be correct, Jules. They had to have cell phones because otherwise Kylie wouldn't have been able to. I could see that could account for Kylie's lack of social media, but how did Kylie text her mom? Because her mom said she asked for permission to stay late in the original presser.
I don't know how she did that, but the information related to there's no cell service and there's no internet service at the lodge came from a write-up in the newspaper. That came from a write-up in the newspaper.
And what about the fire that's going that way?
What do you mean?
Like there's a forest fire. It's called the Mosquito Ridge Fire. It's headed right into that Truckee forest right now.
Oh, I
Really?
don't know. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah. Oh God, it's sinking. We're all sucked in and smoke out here in the West. It's
Are you
bad.
okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm nowhere near it. I live in Wyoming, but the smoke is all sucked. Yeah. But yeah, there is a fire that's headed out in that area. Same area. Look on the maps. Look on the USGS maps. Go to the Forest
So
Service.
are you suggesting that it's going to burn down evidence?
I'm sorry, but I don't trust PG&E. They're
Oh,
going through it right now.
You are
They're not-
suggesting that.
You absolutely bet I would.
What's PG&E, sweetie? What is that?
PG&E is the electric company in California. They're the ones that the Paradise Fire a couple of years ago.
Hey, I have a question. Now that you've mentioned that, I don't know why this triggered something in my brain, but what was up with that headline from Truckee that said Kylie Rodney case leads to arrest of sex offender?
Yeah. So there was a 15-year-old girl in June who was given like a fake Percocet. She thought she was purchasing a Percocet, and it turned out that it was actually fentanyl.
Ooh.
And the young lady died. And so the cops, I believe, was it August 27th or maybe 28th, they ended up arresting the guy that sold her the Percocet. And so I don't know if he's implicated somehow with the drugs at the party, or if it was just they were doing an investigation related to Kylie and they found him. I don't know, but that's what that was.
Okay.
Yeah. And I read today that GoFundMe has shut down the GoFundMe account for Kylie Rodney, and they're holding the funds. Yeah, they're holding the funds, and we know who set up the GoFundMe. That was Sammy and her friends.
What if it's a money wash for drugs?
I don't know. I mean, it's a rabbit hole. That's what it's a crazy case. It's a crazy case for sure. So anyway, there's another crazy case starting.
Oh no.
It was supposed to start on Monday. Trial was supposed to start this past Monday. Now it's going to start this coming Monday. And it is from Ohio. There was a family called the Rodens. There were 8 of them murdered in one night.
You know what? I was supposed to spend the night with them that night.
Don't say that, Ryan.
I swear. You could no. You can look on my Instagram. I'm not playing.
You're kidding.
No, yes, I met every single one of them at a show in Columbus, Ohio. They hung out with me after the show. And they were like, hey, they're like, you want to come to our house and spend the night? And I was like, dude, I'm down. What we going to do? They're like, we got a bunch of weed and we have a big farm.
They
and this, that, and the other.
They were commercial growers of weed.
Yeah, dude, you want to know something crazy? The picture they used on CNN, you can see my arm. It's the picture from the show.
Oh
We took a meet and greet picture. I will never forget that.
Well, you came dangerously close because the only people that survived were 2 babies.
I know.
Yeah, they didn't kill the kids. Yeah.
My buddy was hooking up with a chick, and he was like, man, I want to hook up with this chick. I was like, oh my God. I was like, fine. So I ended up staying with him. So I'm glad I did though.
Yeah, absolutely. So in a weird kind of twist of fate too, Billy Wagner, who's the guy, it's his trial that is supposed to start on Monday. I actually know him.
Really?
I was living in West Virginia, and there were a lot of people. I was in Huntington, which is right there at the line.
Oh my God, I lived there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I lived in Kanawha County.
There you go. Were you in Huntington?
Not necessarily Huntington. I was more on like the Lincoln side.
Yeah. So anyway, so I lived there, and they were just north across the river in Ohio. And and so I had, reason to cross paths with the grandma has a horse farm, and they're land rich, but all the land is generating all the money, and so they had a lot of cattle and stuff.
You've been to New River Gorge?
Oh yeah, beautiful,
so beautiful,
gorgeous, absolutely.
What is that one little town that's abandoned around there? It's a whole town that's abandoned. Oh,
I don't know. Is it the one where the big flood came?
Yeah, it has the railroad tracks, the sawmill. It goes over a bridge. It leads to this little town. It has like a circle. Only like one person lives there now. I forgot what it's called. Never mind. That's besides the point.
Yeah, I don't know what. But the gorge, it's absolutely gorgeous. Whether you're up top or you're down by the river, it's amazing.
It's a long walk back up though.
It's one of those where you need to camp overnight. yeah.
Jules, there's a missing person getting zero coverage out of Wagner, South Carolina.
Okay.
Crystal Anderson.
Uh-huh.
And Chasing had just shared it out yesterday. It's another good one to push out. She's been missing since August 20th from her home with her boyfriend. The children heard her scream, but she never came back inside the house.
That's crazy.
I'm looking to see. Let me look on Twitter. I can find it on Twitter.
That's where it was at. That's where she had it out on.
Do y'all think Summer Wells was snatched? I kind of think she was.
What do you think, Crystal? I mean, not Crystal, Voices.
I don't honestly know, because I have a thing about, I don't like to weigh in on minor cases because they're so easily damaged. The only reason that I was participating in anything to do with her case was to keep us with the mindset that even though a lot of people don't believe that the Wells, that may believe that the Wells are guilty, in the eyes of the law of the state of Tennessee, they are considered victims. That was it. Sorry. I don't honestly know, because I don't like minor cases.
Yeah, that is a hard one.
I think, so my thoughts are, number one, I don't think they'll ever get anybody into a courtroom to try the case because of all of the interviews and all of the online shenanigans that both of the Wells engaged in. Number one.
True.
But I have felt from the very beginning, and Tiffany Marie knows this. She doesn't believe what I believe, but she knows my opinion on this. I think there was trafficking.
Yeah. I thought both. I didn't really know what to think. That was the first thing I ever looked at. So I did think both. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I just I don't think that Candace and Dawn, I don't think they're sophisticated enough to hide it this well. I think she had to have been taken by somebody
going elsewhere.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Voices?
I agree with that. Okay, so I'll give you my theory. Here's my 100% speculatory theory. It was the damn dogs next door. That's why that neighbor is on a live stream 24/7, wanting to pay attention to what's being done on YouTube, and attempting to go on every channel and control the narrative in the beginning until people figured out her game. That's my own personal opinion, but that's what I've always thought.
That lady talked to me, I think. What's her name?
Jody Sue.
Jody Sue, yes, dude.
What'd she talk to you about?
Nothing really. I was just in the chat and I was like, don't you live across the street? And she's like, well, I used to, but I don't live across the street no more. I had to leave. She had to leave apparently or something. She said fake FBI agents were coming to her house. I was like, whoa, dude. It's kind of wild.
Did you?
Well, that was probably because of YouTubers, Ryan. I won't lie. It was probably YouTubers. It was probably JLR, Betty, and crew. I won't lie.
Oh, God. They actually travel and go harass and do stuff like that. Wow.
Ryan,
Okay,
So-
who is?
JLR, listen, Ryan,
Yes,
JLR,
ma'am.
Betty, Molly, all of them travel down. They raise money online. Molly was saying that all Cash Apps, Super Chats, PayPals would go to this certain expense. Thousands of dollars, lots of money was raised online. And then they went down there to pull up at a job site and scream at Dawn and Candace that they killed their baby. It was
See,
disgusting.
I can't
It was
and I'm so sorry if y'all are friends with this lady, but I can't stand Molly Golightly.
nope, that's who caused the whole, that's how I got my start over here. So we're all
Okay, cool.
that's who I refer to as the monster face life coach. I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. She's like, Ryan, do you need a life coach? And then like 3 hours later, she's like, hi, on the bathroom. Like she pulled her pants down on live the other night. Showed her whole ass. I was like, yo, what are you doing?
Well,
Sorry,
Any-
Jules. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry as well.
I'm trying to be as
Sorry.
respectful. Honey, I am trying to be as respectful as possible.
You're
I forgot
awesome.
we were live.
You do
You're
realize
awesome.
you do realize that Ryan and I could turn this into the absolute Jules shit show.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's okay. I will say that with Jody Sue, were y'all listening about 2 months ago, where she got angry with Andy, her ex-husband, who was going live, and for some reason she was completely freaked out that he was on somebody's channel. And she said, it's recorded, you can hear it at Tiffany Marie's channel. She says, why don't you ask him about him selling sedatives to Candace so that they can sedate and molest the young girls. She said it bigger than Dallas right there on her channel.
And the crazy part of that is that lines up with what some nutter hopped on somebody else's channel and said that there was something in the pop bottle. That's why she was passed out in the backseat of the truck.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
And all those pictures that they were showing of all those kids all had the orange drinks, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Crazy.
And what do we know about,
Crazy.
what do you know in the medical field about when you're giving something you want to use an orange flavor because it helps take away the medicine?
That's right. Either orange or to get a piece of chocolate. That's exactly correct.
Thank you.
Yep. That's
what does that mean, ladies?
When you're going to give medication to a child, something that tastes bad, a piece of chocolate or orange flavoring will just like erase the bitter taste.
Oh, okay,
It just
gotcha.
magically makes it go away. So you would, if you're trying to hide like a noxious taste, you would try to put it in an orange drink rather than Coke or Sprite or something like that.
Sedative has something, a sedative in liquid forms. The medications in liquid forms are going to have a really bittery taste to them. They design it that way so that you don't just go chug a bottle of something. That's even worse now because
Y'all
you know
think
what that means, Jules? That means that if there's any truth to that, it's been messed in so bad on YouTube. There'd be no way to get any justice.
No. It can never go. If Candace Wells walked up and said, I did it, I did the whole thing, they could never get a conviction because of all the interrogation level questioning the rhetoric, the interrogation level questioning that came out of, previous.
This is why we got to blow up channel like y'all's. So y'all are the head of the stuff, and y'all are over top the people that spread the stuff that infiltrate minds like mine that are not that good at true crime.
You know why I came to YouTube? I came to YouTube because I wanted to build a network of advocates so that every time there's a missing person, the family is given an advocate. That's it. There's a free advocacy course. Can
I help y'all create it?
I would love it, Ryan. I would love it.
That'd be
There's
awesome.
a free advocacy course that people can take out on ovat.gov. Office of, all you type in Google is Office of Victims Assistance. advocacy training, and it's a no cost 70-hour course. And that was my whole goal, because I cannot tell you, I have 7 missing families that I consistently deal with. At least I touch base with one family every day, 7 days a week.
Dang. That's a job in itself.
Yeah.
That's why I'm on YouTube, is to support being able to do that, because how do you charge for advocacy? I don't charge for what I do. I never do. And all you're there for is to support the families. I'm here to be the bridge between families of the missing and law enforcement, so these missing are not forgotten. That's all I came out here for.
Can I help you? Can I do you have a Cash App?
I do. I do.
What is it?
$V4VWY.
Oh, hang on one second. I'm sorry. It is
$V4VWY.
Oh, Voices for the Voiceless.
That was so. And I got lost in the mess.
So the like you were talking about having an advocate for each one of these crime victims, you know, exactly like with the Wells family. And I'm not advocating for them, but what I wanted to say was, one of the ways that having an advocate would have been really helpful for them, or for Summer, it would have been to have guidance to stay off of YouTube.
Yes.
Do not do these interviews where you're basically putting out so much information that if they ever try to go to court, the defense is, it's all hearsay. Well, I can show you 5 channels where people are repeating that same story, so you can't believe it. It's not true, Judge. So it could be, they've completely destroyed any chance. If Don Wells did this, or both of them together, they'll never get a courtroom, because of all of, they've destroyed any way
it's all fruit of the poisonous tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Holy crap! I didn't know it worked like that.
That's why I was trying to say earlier on the panel, when your people were saying, oh, well, they should just dive down and get it. I'm like, no, they should sit there and watch whatever it is that they've found, and wait until law enforcement takes it, documenting it, so that it can be used in the justice process, should some sort of a lawsuit happen.
Which is exactly what AK did when he found that turquoise t-shirt, and he waited how many days before the cops finally came and got it? He was practically begging them to come and get it. He didn't even know that it had been logged into the evidence until during the preliminary hearing. They came out and said that it was still in DNA testing, and he was like, "Really?" I said that it continues to be in the DNA testing stage. So yeah, that was a shady case. But
I have learned more sitting here with y'all for, I don't know, an hour and 20 minutes. I've learned more from y'all in an hour and 20 minutes than I've learned in the past 3 weeks.
Well, cool.
Why is that?
Because
we're not screaming at each other.
But you came in to listen. You came into somebody who speaks in a way that you understand.
Come on, honey, brag on yourself.
No, Jules is talking about the way I'm talking about Jules, because she speaks in a way I understand it. I get the way you think. I get it. And all they do is you think faster than you speak, and you miss a word or two here or there, and that's what they're waiting for. They do it to me all the time. It's the game that they play. Ryan, I can't thank you enough for what you did for me. Thank you.
Oh, it's okay, sweetheart. No problem.
This is going to be able to do some pretty amazing things, because now we're gonna thank.
Yes, ma'am. You do whatever you do with it.
You're a good guy,
Ladies,
Ryan.
oh, thank you, sweetie.
Yeah, you're a good guy.
Y'all are really cool. Hopefully, I can get in here, talk to y'all again sometime. I think I'm about to go watch Stranger Things.
Okay. Well,
All
thank you
righty.
for coming. Absolutely. Thank you for coming up. It was interesting.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, voices. So I've got Crystal Anderson. I've got her missing poster up for everybody. And Crystal's been missing since August 20th from South Carolina. She's 30 years old, 5'1". Oh, she's tiny, isn't she?
Yeah.
5 feet 1 inches, 120 pounds, green eyes. Crystal last seen at her residence in Wagner, South Carolina. According to the family, Crystal and her boyfriend were arguing outside her home Saturday night. Crystal's children heard her scream, but she never came back inside the home. She hasn't been seen or heard from since then. A $3,000 reward. That's terrible. Gosh.
But she's not even listed on the missing persons database for the local law enforcement.
And she's been gone for 40 days. 18 days, yeah.
We have to push this one. I got the information all over to Intrigued Full Effect podcast. Chandrea covers missing African American. So I got it over there, but I did this push. This is another domestic violence incident. I mean, look at what the last known is talking about. Look at what the last known is talking about. Heard arguing outside of her home with a husband. Her boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's the same incident over again. It's exactly what is plaguing.
I hear a noise.
That's my wind chimes. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But she never came back inside the home. Wow, that's so sad. Well, we'll have to push that one. I'll start learning about it, tonight, tomorrow, and try to.
I've been digging a little bit. I'll send you my links.
Is there anything out there about her?
No, this is it.
Oh.
Chasing found it. Chasing did a live on it. They're like Chasing started the rabbit hole. Nothing.
Yeah, so
very little.
Okay, you're talking about Chasing Truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So everybody, if you want to learn about Crystal Anderson, Chasing Truth has a live up about it. All right. Wow, that's so sad. Okay. All right, everybody. It is 12:30. I have to go to work in the morning. This has turned out. She is very beautiful. I've learned a lot. She is very beautiful. Absolutely. I do have work in the morning, so I've got to go to bed. I'm not usually up this late on Wednesday. Her childhood law enforcement. No.
Thank you so much for tonight, Jules. It was amazing.
Well, I hope that you will come and join again. I really enjoyed talking with you.
I've been listening every time. I thank you for having the adult table.
No. It was very interesting. I appreciate it so much. Absolutely. It's a good conversation with good people. Packless?
Yep. Yeah,
wow.
No, I had a great time. I thought Ryan, he was great. I mean, it was a different side that I've been seeing, and I'm a little impressed by him. But
good.
It didn't sway my opinion on a lot of things. But
sure.
It's always good to see a different side, and he does have a big heart, and I just feel like sometimes, like the one lady said, his brain works quicker than his mouth, and he leaves out a lot of words, and it may just be that we're just misunderstanding what he's trying to say, and he's saying it correct, or thinking it and saying it correctly. We're just not interpreting it correctly. But it is what it is, and I was just happy that he actually had a conversation with you guys. That's why I didn't say anything after the initial thing. I just let him talk and let you guys talk, because it was a civil discussion, and we actually were civil about it, which was surprising.
Actually, I will tell you this. If you go over to Zap Girl, he has been on her channel quite a bit. And what he was tonight here with all of us, that's exactly what I've seen him on Zap Girl's channel. So these little small channels where he's being followed and people are goading and pushing, they're trying to troll him, trying to get that reaction. That's not typical. He's pretty interesting guy to listen to. He's a smart guy. And he could do with some anger management. Okay. I'm willing to admit that. But he is a interesting person. Like I said,
said that, he yelled at me earlier, and he's like, I probably shouldn't have done that. I respect that. I mean, I think that's a lot of what people are just wanting him to. A lot of the things, like I was saying, he's misinterpreting. I think that they just want him to concede something, that where, he says he's down to earth and he's not better than everybody else. No, I'm not saying he thinks he's better than everybody else. I'm just saying that's how people are perceiving it. And if he would just like do what he did here and have a discussion about stuff, and if there was someone that, asked a question, he would be able to answer it. And I think it would reach a lot of these skeptics about him a little more, a little better, and it would do a lot to help him out in this little true crime adventure he's doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. I really do. No, really, Packlist. You can listen to him on Zap Girl's channel. This is the guy that I'm accustomed to seeing. When he goes on some of these other channels, and you've got clout chasers that are trying to, kind of use his notoriety to kind of build up their own position using the whole virtue signaling and whatnot. And it just turns into a shit. Things don't have to be chaos. People can disagree. Look at me and you. We have our ideas about what happened with Kylie Rodney are so different. And we're not screaming and yelling at each other, but they do. I think a lot of these channels, they recognize if you get people on panel and you're yelling, then suddenly you go from having 150, 200 people watching up to 600, 800 people watching. And those minutes are just clicking away. They're just adding up. So sometimes, all of the fighting and carrying on is, intentional. So
For sure.
Anyway,
That's how it is. I mean, because everyone could portray whatever they want. I mean, Ryan can't because we all know him. He's a public figure. But all these other people that are saying stuff, we have no idea who they are. They, they try to say something they're not, And I mean, I could see where that could be a problem for someone like him that is already established. Everyone knows who he is. He can't hide, or not hide, but keep his identity a secret. And that's a pretty tough situation to be in too. So
it is. Yeah. So
and yeah, the other. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like with the other channel, to what you were saying, when I was in there, a lot of the discussion was about him not believing that Kylie was real, and they just were trying to. That was the whole thing. And then when the other people, like you said, when the other YouTuber creators came in that already had a problem, they already had a mindset of what they wanted to accomplish when they went in there. It became a total shit show. And I mean, I don't blame him for getting mad and reacting that way, because I mean, everyone was yelling. I'm sure you watched part of it, and it was crazy. And it does, people feed off that no matter what. If you have to defend yourself, and when you have 5 or 6 people that are all you're, even if they're not against you, you're feeling they're against you, you're gonna get defensive about a lot of stuff. And I learned a lot. Like I said, this is great. I love listening, just being on the panel and listening tonight. And I've learned a little bit more about Ryan that I didn't think was there. And he does have a heart. He is a good guy. And and I feel like a lot of people think I'm a troll a lot of times, because I do believe in the accident theory. But they're like, oh, you're sticking up for Ronnie, or you're sticking up for Zanime, or whoever they want to say I'm sticking up for. But it's not that. I'm just, when I look at it, I perceive it differently. You know, I'm almost 50 years old, and I've lived in Florida my whole life. I have a different outlook on everything because of just my surroundings and how I grew up and everything, as opposed to someone that grew up in New Jersey or Wisconsin or
Sure.
California. You know, like
Yeah.
everyone has a different perspective on life, and just how they grew up really contributes to how you look at stuff, how you know, stuff that has happened to you, past experiences. So there's a lot to be gained, and a lot of differences because of that. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I agree exactly what you said. But people that are celebrity, their existence becomes like a prison, right? I know that sounds melodramatic, but just kind of stay with its idea. Let me call it a box, not a prison, but a box. Their celebrity will put them into a box. And what I mean by putting them into a box is that as the celebrity grows, even though they have additional resources that other people don't have, they also lose access to regular activities that you and I take for granted. If I decide that I want to get up one night and go down to the store and buy Ben and Jerry's ice cream, no one is going to care. I'm just going to go get it. I'm going to check out, get my money. They're going to go, oh, you're up late tonight, and then go home, and there's no harm, no foul. I don't have to be concerned, worried about anything. But people that have celebrity, if they tried to just get in the car and go out to the store and, grab a loaf of bread or whatever, they literally run a chance of running into, worst case scenario, a crazy, person who thinks that they know them. But at the very least, they're going to run into a group of fans who are going to be like, dude, man, you look like shit without all that makeup and without the cameras. Or they're going to be pushing about, oh my God, take pictures. So there you stand. There's a lot. And in that moment of pictures, all you're wanting to do is just go get your ice cream, go home and watch a movie or whatever. But as soon as you're out, all these people that think they know you are now demanding attention, and, oh, it's so great to see you, and this is the most exciting day of my life. And you're thinking, leave me alone. I don't know you. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I just want some damn ice cream. And so you run the risk of offending them if you won't stop and spend an hour taking photographs. And so people that have celebrity, they can adopt some really strange ways of insulating themselves from these uncomfortable situations, right? I mean, you look at Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp ended up not only buying a huge mansion with acreage to keep, protect himself, but as each house on his road came up for sale, he purchased it. So for Johnny Depp, not only does he live in this big mega mansion at the dead end road, but he also owns every single house on his road. So they've put up a huge gate, and when they turn in, nobody can be anywhere on his road, all in an effort to be able to just go out for a walk, to just be able to walk over to another house and not be inundated with people recognizing you or dealing with crazy people trying to hurt you, right? Even when Johnny Depp was in court, there was a crazy lady that brought a baby, a newborn baby, and she had to stayed out there all night in line to get a place in the courtroom. And then once there, what court had started, and this crazy lady stands up with her baby, holds it up over her head in the middle of the courtroom, and says, Johnny, this is our baby that we made together. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, we look at celebrity, we think, wow, this would be so great. You'd have all this, you have that. No. You lose so much in that translation. As you move from being a regular citizen to now being someone that everybody thinks they know, and in truth, nobody knows them. Now, those people that are living in that bubble of celebrity, they can begin to, especially someone who's an extrovert. And if you like people, if you get your energy from people, then you're going to want to figure out how to be with people. And if your celebrity stops you from being able to do that, then it can be really difficult emotionally and mentally. It can be a real challenge. At some point, these people just want to be a human. They don't want to be a celebrity. They don't want to be wealthy. They don't want to be notable. They don't want to be recognizable. They want to be able to do normal things. And I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I don't know Ryan Upchurch from anybody. I don't know him. This was the first time I'd ever spoken to him, was when he came up on the panel. But I do have a friend who is a celebrity, and I have a cousin who was a very, very famous person, singer. But learning about that problem, they really get hungry for being a part of a group. That's something that they miss out on. And so, in my opinion, I just think Upchurch gets interested in some of these mysteries like we do, like you did with this case with Kylie Rodney. I think he just wants to be a part of the conversation. I don't think he wants to be Ryan Upchurch, the celebrity. I just think he wants to be able to have a conversation with everybody else. That's all. I think it's pretty simple. And I think some people have just not, I think they're just nutty about it, It's hard.
No, I can
it's
see
hard.
that. I can see that for sure.
It's hard for somebody to, no, you're fine. It's hard for some people to recognize that celebrities are also just normal people,
Yeah, like you're saying, they can never go back to being normal at this point. I
That's
mean,
right.
they're kind of trapped in that scenario, and I feel that same way too. I feel like, he can't hide behind anything. Not that he wants to hide, but he can't be anonymous at this point, where everybody else pretty much can if they really wanted to, and he just doesn't have that luxury, and it does cause a lot of problems. You can,
Yep.
as far as anything he says. But a lot of the things is that he does have 3 million followers, and you can't control what everybody's going to do. And this, some people just hang on every word. So not that you have to be careful with what you say, but you would think that you would be a little bit more mindful, is all. And
I
I
can
think he
accept
does
that.
do that until there's a conflict or someone really gets on him about something, and then maybe he, I don't want to say he goes too far, but maybe says something a little too quick or a little offbeat or something. But in general, I feel like there is a lot about being a celebrity and how he's having to navigate through this whole thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That I'm really, I'm really, really glad that you guys were able to talk. And like I said, I hope you'll go over to Zab Girl. She's got some really great conversations about Kylie Rodney, and boy, she is like a blue tick hound with a scent. I mean, if she gets her mindset that she's trying to learn about some fact or some specific thing, she will spend 4 or 5 hours searching and searching and searching. So when you go listen to her lives, she's got a lot of really good conversation, a lot of really good information. So he's on there very often, and it's productive. It's good to listen to. It's pleasant and not all the chaos and crap. But don't Glare. He's he's
Oh, that
pursuing,
guy's a dick. He's a dick for sure.
he is, he's pursuing that. He's trying to
Yeah.
get notoriety is what he's doing. So
Yeah, no, I feel that too, for sure. And I mean, a lot of people thought that. I mean, I'm not saying I'm anything like Larry, but a lot of people thought that about me too. And it wasn't really like that. I was just trying, I just want to hear the facts. You know, I really don't want to. Theories are great and all, and we all can have a theory. I just like to hear the facts about the case. I like to hear, you know, a little more of what's going on, not this like speculation that this case kind of turned into. Because I know, Zab, I'm not subscribed to a lot of channels, but I do watch a lot of these channels. And, you know, a lot of the channels that you can't type unless you're subscribed. You can't, you know, do something unless your
right,
subscriber mode's on and stuff. So that kind of turns me off. And just stuff like that. It's just me personally, you know, when I look at stuff like that, that's why I feel like a lot of this is about catering to the masses and what they feel, you know, having
sure,
a difference in opinion, like I've been saying, is a is people automatically think you're a troll. And it's like, no, if you're not open minded to think of everything, and I feel like a lot of the people are looking one way because of some information that I'm just not sold 100% on that as being fact. So I can't come to that conclusion. Now, if we come to find out a lot of this stuff that people are saying that it comes out to be actual facts, then that would sway my opinion. I'm open. I'm not gonna say accident until I die, you know? It's
right,
just I when I see more facts and I gather more information that I know to be factual or to be true or from a really reliable source or something, then I can make it I could adjust my opinion and how I think about it, and that's how I go about it. I don't just have one opinion and be like, it has to be that because of one reason that we're not actually 100% sure of yet. And
yeah.
that's how I look at it. And
Well,
I
so
and I wanted to say one more thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you
oh,
again,
you're
but
fine. You're fine.
I don't condone what Ronnie did. I think that was foolish, and I believe that for whatever reason he did that. I'm not standing up for anybody else. I really can care less about all those people. It doesn't bother, it has no effect on me, and I really don't care to even discuss it. I mean, whatever you believe about them is what you believe about them. Um, if I talk to them, like I did tonight when Ronnie came on the other show and was talking, and I got to ask him questions and stuff. So I was able to, ask my questions and have an answer. It more of a, hey, direct, not hearing it from a third party or maybe something that was edited on a video where it was taken out of context.
Yeah,
We were talking about this and I asked him the question and he answered it. So I mean, not that I believe him or anything, but it's just another piece of information that I got from someone else that's involved in this case, or at least on this YouTube online case about it. And it was just something I filed away. And the other day, I think it was yesterday, the day before, I was on another channel, a really small channel, and they were going through the videos of Sammy and all the interviews, and we discussed it. And I saw a lot of stuff that made me suspect. I'm like, man, maybe I need to start looking into and rethinking about my accident theory. But it's because we were looking and going over stuff. It wasn't just because someone said it. And I feel like a lot of people just live and die on what someone says and they take it as fact, and we don't know yet it's 100% fact is all I'm saying. I
sure,
think we need to
absolutely,
wait to make a diehard, this is the thing and it can't be anything else. Well, hold up on that
absolutely.
until we know a little bit more.
No, I agree with you for sure. Um, I will tell you. So there is a channel called Gray Hughes. Is it True Crime or Gray? I don't know. If you just put in Gray Hughes, you'll get to his channel. He's kind of like you. He just wants the facts out there. So he's very direct and specific about putting out accurate, verified information, right? I think a lot like my channel, I learn as much as I can. I'm also a psychologist, um, but I learn as much as I can about whatever the case is, and then I develop my ideas and my opinion, and that's the point of discussion. So I like for people to give me an alternative. I like for people to argue back and kind of, you know, compare notes and whatnot. But when you're talking about the same case for weeks, there's gonna be speculation. But I always say this is wild speculation. You know, I try to really focus. This is only my opinion. I'm only guessing what may have been going on. So you're going to run into that a lot. There are a lot of channels that's what we do. We develop theories. It's kind of like, you know, the old standing around the water fountain, you know, at work kind of talk. Everybody's got an opinion. These extraordinary cases, people listen to it and learn about it, and then they comment, you know, on it. So, and if they're ethical, then they should say, I'm speculating. Like what I'm saying is only my opinion. I don't know that it's fact or not. But like I said, Gray Hughes is one of those channels that he's pretty specific and direct about making sure that what he's putting out is fact, you know, just the facts, man. So anyway,
yeah, I can respect that for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, Dr. Latina, thank you so much for the super chat. She said, Packless Jones, please return and share again. You are a breath of fresh air. See there? Wow. You thought you were going to come here and get all kinds of hate, and you didn't. Everybody likes you. They want you to be back.
That's great. I'm surprised because I didn't think she liked me when she first came on. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I am gonna shamelessly beg for you to subscribe. So
well, I actually am subscribed to your channel.
Oh, yay! Thank you. Okay, so
and I did like the video.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then also Shelly Weldon, thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate that more than you know. I've known Shelly Weldon a long time. Let's see, Dr. Latina. We all need affiliation and fellowship. Absolutely. That's a developmental necessity, right? To have an identity and be a part of a group. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's always better when you have a group that is like-minded. It definitely helps you in expressing your opinions and stuff, and knowing that you have some validation before you even start to speak, if you know that they're like-minded. So it is healthy and helpful for people to get their opinions out.
Absolutely. All right. So speaking of, tomorrow is going to be a long day. I am going to be sleepy all day. So my horrible day though was yesterday. It's a killer. Tuesdays are killer. Thursdays are a little bit rough, but then I'm completely off on Friday. So, but tomorrow is going to come very quickly because it is 1 a.m. Packless.
It's 2 here.
I
know.
I
gotta work in the morning too. So.
You better go to bed. I'm telling you.
Yep, I will. Thanks for having me on. Like I said, I just saw that you had the video up. You were, when I saw the headline and I saw that, I was like, oh, I was there. And then I saw my little icon pop up. I didn't know if you were reviewing the video or what. That's why I popped in. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too. It's wonderful. I hope you'll be back. I hope you'll join us again.
Yeah, I will for sure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Will you sleep well and have a great day tomorrow at work?
Yeah, you too. And I just want to thank everybody, Ryan and Dr. Latina and Voices and everybody else that was up on chat. They were great. And, and the chat itself was pretty good too. So, thanks for everybody for not killing me too bad.
All right. Thank you, Packless. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Okay, so another long night. I don't know why the hell you guys keep me up so late. Y'all, I don't know. I think y'all are trying to get me fired. Okay, maybe not. All right, thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Hey, Mad Miss Hatter, welcome. I always think of this is for Miss Hetty Lamar. destroyed, erased by a world that made her a star. Right? It's a good Johnny Depp song. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'm thinking y'all, we must have a room full of Europeans in here at 1 a.m. But we'll see. Liza Road to Waller Bridge. That is a hell of a name, Liza. Wear it with integrity. Yeah, it was a good panel. I enjoyed it. And you guys, let me just say this too. You know, we had it. There were a couple. I was watching chat, and we did have some pretty unpleasant comments. So, you know, my friends, y'all were great. Everybody was wonderful. So thank you for not rising to the occasion. You know, I get weary of all the, you know, the noise. So it was a good night. It was a nice conversation. Dr. Latina, you're awesome. Thank you so much for coming up. I could listen to you talk all day. So I really appreciate it, Amy. Thank you so much. Hey, Kate, good to see you. I was working on a paper, but I was very much with you guys. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Kate. I wish you would have come up on panel with us. Good night, Yvette. I hope you sleep well. Hey, Donna D. Nice to see you. Kel, loving life, living large. Okay, John Courtney says, hit the thumbs up. Thank you. You know what? I should do some, you know, shameless pandering and beg for subscribing and thumbs up and comments under the video. But I'm not going to do that. I'm far too sleepy and weary to do that tonight. So, Colorado, man, I wish I was there. You want to know my most favorite place on the planet? Makeup with Jackie, Marble, Colorado. That's my place. If I could go and have a little cabin, I'm talking about 800 square feet. It doesn't have to be much. A little cabin with a great big fireplace, sitting right at the end of the road in Marble, Colorado. Man, that's heaven right there. That's heaven. The greatest place on earth is Marble, Colorado. Yep. All right. Have you been there, Makeup with Jackie? Have you been to Marble? You got to go to Marble. And Lady Rebel, super sticker. Thank you, Lady Rebel. I appreciate it. I wish I was in Dixie, away, away. In Dixieland, I'll take my stand to live and die in Dixie. That's the rebel yell. Thank you for supporting the channel, Lady Rebel. Justice for Suzanne Morphew. Yeah, that one gets me, right, Justice Janny? And this case with Crystal Anderson, it could be another Suzanne Morphew, sadly. So I'll see what I can find out about Crystal Anderson and try to draw some attention. And if y'all would share that on share the missing poster on your social media, that would be great. See you on the set, Miss Hatter. All right, everybody, I have got to go to sleep. I've never heard of Marble. Oh my gosh. You're missing out. You are missing out if you've never been to Marble, Colorado. Absolutely gorgeous. Take your kayak. It's a beautiful beaver pond right at the end of the road. You won't believe it. Most relaxing place, beautiful river. Oh, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Wish I was there right now. That's all I can say. Lady Rebel's going to send me a super chat if I promise to sing Dixie. Let's see. Okay. Checked all my messages. Could you post her full name here or in the description so I can find and post her flyer? I will put it in the description of this live. Will that be okay? had something to say. All right, I'm going to go to sleep. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all were amazing. All right, I'll be back. Me and Arnold. Bye.